Houston, our instruments are showing that we have a incoming message from deep space. Repeat, Houston, we have an incoming message from deep space. Houston, we'll begin playing message now. Houston, we're going to try and translate that up here. Hold for translation. Translation complete. We'll begin playing message now.
Hey, it's me, Melissa.
What do you do when the aliens invade? Take a shot of MK Ultra and watch Melissa Jade. Put on your tinfoil hat and tune right in. We got their crime spree, flat earth theories, government conspiracies, a complex Mandela effects, unidentified objects, a mind expanding, fake moon landing, what are dolphins understanding? It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa. Aliens is on the sun or in Area 51. Time travels, unravels, haunted castles, cops are baffled, potential experimental thoughts that make you transcendental. It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa. Crime sprees, flat earth theories, government conspiracies, complex Mandela effects, unidentified objects, a mind expanding, fake moon landing, what are dolphins understanding? It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, J. Michael McCoy. That is so kind of you to start off the live with a super sticker. So thank you so very, very much. Hi, guys. Hello. What do you think, good girls? She got half. Oh, really? I definitely will. I'll probably make you mad. I definitely will. I'll write that down. Meatfoot, can you message me that? We'll just screenshot that comment for me. Thank you. Hi guys. Hi Allie. Hi Harlot People Me. B Crumbs Destination New York. Susan Kentucky Crime Junkie. That's a new name. Welcome. Pointer Lover. We have, let me see. Nails and Braids Artesia. Kathy, Corey. Okay, thank you, Allie. Rebecca Black, yo, Adrian, Christina. Let me see, Touch Grass. Amanda Love, welcome. We have Christina Johnson, Donna Barkley, Lisa. My Snot Rocket, Mrs. Millet. And Snot Rocket, I hope you have an amazing time. Rebecca Gomez. We have Shits and Giggles, Natasha Rennie, Peppermint Tea, Judith. Let me see, Kathy 4, Jordan, Cool Gamer, KPM, Daylene, Musicity Mom, 87. Okay, Teacup Crankin'. Keep going. Hello, Dukes. Okay, I think I got it. Let me jump back down. Hi, Tony. Hi, Shauna. No problem, Jordan. Yep, we're doing an earlier live today. Happy weekend, Tony. Okay, so you guys. Hi, Real John Doe. How are you? Hi, hippie chick. We have amazing news that we started today out with. If you guys attended my live last night, you guys know that at the beginning of the live, I told you, I apologize and I asked you to bear with me because my channel is a little bit chaotic. If you look on my channel as far as the videos, and I know my Leticia playlist and my series is all over the place. There are a bunch of episodes missing, and so they are out of sequence and out of order. And I do very much apologize for that. And again, let me get through the weekend. I will be working throughout this weekend on making sure that they are in numerical order, the ones that are up, and whichever episodes have been taken down, rest assured, whatever content, whatever documents, whatever we had gone over within those episodes will be re-uploaded. So it's not like, whatever was in them are gone. It will be re-uploaded. But I had asked you guys to bear with me and please be patient. And I apologize for that inconvenience. I'm also very upset because I put a lot of hard work into this series. But there are guidelines and policies, and YouTube is, being, they're enforcing it, and so I'd rather be very careful. And so I had talked to you guys about that yesterday and how our very, very good friend and creator, Alex Erickson, was going through the situation where her channel had gotten demonetized for one of the policies, which is reused content. Now, reused content is not the same as copyright. And I know there's a lot of confusion over there. Reused content is not the same as, okay, I'm pulling up somebody else's stuff and I'm playing it. Reused content can be your own. So let's just say I wanted to pull up my video from yesterday and I wanted to play it for you guys. That could be reused content. Like if I don't transform that enough, it could be reused content. So something like that. So it's different. Either way, I started yesterday's live discussing that with you. And I also talked to you guys yesterday about what Allie was going through. Well, she submitted her appeal video, and you guys, first thing this morning, her monetization is back, and this is amazing news. And seriously, so thank you all for anybody who had sent that positivity over, sent those well wishes. You have no idea, like, how much I know Allie's channel means to her. Us as creators take this very seriously. For a lot of it, it's, a main source of our income, and she works so freaking hard, so hard. She busts her ass. And so to have, hey, like your whole channel just gets demonetized in, the blink of an eye, and really for something that you're not even doing, it's heartbreaking, it's scary, it's terrifying, and especially right before Christmas. And so this is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful news. Like words can't even express how amazing this is. And I'm just so thankful for anybody who had been supportive and sent those well wishes, and anybody who had joined her Patreon. That is amazing. And just to give you a heads up, she is going to continue with that Patreon. She is going to continue posting exclusive content that is only available there. She is going to be posting content that is early access for her Patreon members. So you could look forward to that. Also, if you are part of my Patreon, I want to give you the heads up, because I have my entire 9/11 series on my Patreon. So if you are a Patreon member, throughout the weekend, if all of a sudden you see everything disappear, don't worry. I am going to be moving it, and it's going to be re-uploaded. I'm just re-uploading it through a different link. So there is going to be maybe a couple of days where you're going to see all of the videos go down, but all of the videos are going to go right back up and it's going to be the same videos. You won't see, it's not going to make any difference on the viewer's end, but just on my end, they're going to be going up through a different link. So if you are part of my Patreon, I just want you guys to be aware of that. And I will be doing the second part of my episode 8 for my 9/11 series, if you are interested in that. So we just got all of that out of the way. But again, it is amazing. And I'm so, so, so thankful and just so happy. Seriously, so happy. So bear with us during this transition period as creators. It is hard, but we're going to get there, and we're going to do well, and we're going to just, it's not as black and white as you might think. And it's hard, and YouTube is constantly evolving and changing their policies. And so that's the hard part. It's not black and white. It's not like, hey, this is what you can do and this is what you can't do in a very specific, detailed format. So you have like a roundabout way of what you can and cannot do, but not too detailed. And so even if you have to question it, you just don't want to take risks. You rather be safe, Yeah, it's a great day, honestly. Like I said, Allie is a very, very hardworking creator. And she is the last person this deserved to happen to, the last person. And so the fact that I think, in my opinion, the fact that her channel went right back up with the monetization, I don't even think YouTube has a person working between like those hours, those early morning hours. But I think that's indicative of the fact that her channel speaks for itself, honestly. I think her channel speaks for itself. And so it wasn't even, this is this is something that we're going to have to really look into. No, I think it was very obvious. Nope, this clearly the AI bot system, flagged it for glitch, whatever. And it went right back up. It went right back up as it should have. And it's a good day. It's a good day. Thank you. I'll probably make you mad. Thank you. Yeah. If we could start out also, if you guys want to hit the thumbs up before we move into our content, that would be very greatly appreciated. And it definitely helps. Hello, Cece McGee. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. How are you guys? So where we last left off yesterday, you like when I said what? Indicative? Yeah. Is part 2 of episode 8 and 9 already scheduled, or do you just mean sometime in the near future? So it's not already scheduled because I have to, remember when I just was saying a second ago, I have to switch over. I have to sync it. Right now, my Patreon is synced up to do it on this channel, so I cannot schedule the second part to episode 8 until I sync it up to my other channel. I have a second channel. And so I have to make the flip. And so I'm going to be doing that this weekend. And you'll see it. And I'll make sure to post it on my community tab so you guys have a heads up. And I'll make sure to post it at least a day in advance and schedule it out. Because I remember your comment, Harlot. I remember you said that you didn't get notified and had a heads up. So I'll keep that in mind. And I'll make sure to post it a day ahead of time, so that it's far enough in advance for you to know, hey, this is when I'm going live, and you could be there. But I have to make the switch and get it onto a different channel, because that is very controversial that's very, very, very that's the whole reason it's on Patreon. That's very controversial. Hi, Rebellious Rose. Oh, look at that. ASMR. You're so funny. You're so sweet. All right. So where we left off yesterday. Is we were going through the arrest warrant. For Leticia. Now we have a couple more pages to go because we didn't quite finish it. But we have 2 routes we could take for this episode as far as recording wise. I have option A, which is we can go over the interview that we've been talking about the past couple of days with Mrs. Troutman. And she went on the WTAF and she made some heavy claims and heavy accusations because remember 2 episodes ago we pulled the documents up and she is the one who said her son allegedly witnessed Al being abusive towards Gannon. It was very controversial and most likely not true. Now, with that being said, it's going to be sensitive. It's going to be sensitive. It's going to make you feel icky because you're going to be listening to somebody more than likely lie about Al being, you know, Al and you know, he's the father of Gannon and it's not a good feeling, you know, because he's already been through enough. And so I could understand why people may not want to even entertain it and listen to it. And this is from years ago, though. This is from the beginning, so we didn't know. But now that we have the full context, I know that there's a portion of people who want to be able to go back and listen to it because you want to be able to relive, well, how did this play out? I want to go back. I want to see how did this whole investigation play out? How did the whole case play out? And I want to see and understand how we got to where we are. Or for today, we could go with a compilation of Leticia's lies in the phone calls, some of them that we have not heard yet. And so either way, we won't be able to get through the entirety of either because there's a lot. Both recordings are very long. But we have 2 options. And I'll leave that to you guys to decide. And just because we do one today doesn't mean that we can't do the other next. But you let me know. But again, I understand that the other interview, just because we may listen to it or discuss it, does not mean that it's true or factual, versus this is what contributed to where things were at, why things were the way that they were, why people may have had the feelings that they were. Because I am telling you, me, as a viewer, listen to that interview in real time, and it shaped my opinions of Al. Now, to this day, I have my opinions of Al, and I've shared that. But I genuinely believed back then that Al could have, I didn't think he had anything to do with the murder. I think Al helped cover it up with Tisha based on what this woman said in this interview. But now that we went through the documents the other day, and now that I have full context, yeah, it's interesting to be able to go back and listen and be able to pull out what I wasn't able to pull out before with these facts in my mind. And I think it's also good to bring awareness to the fact we need to be knowledgeable of this moving forward when covering current cases. Let's take Idaho, for example. Things like this interview is going to happen. But we need to account for not having the full context yet. So when we listen to things in active and current cases, we always need to leave room for, okay, but we do not have full context. Because again, that formed my opinion back then. Yet now fast forward to what I know today, and now I'm able to decipher that that was a lie because I have the full context. So we need to be aware and use it as an example. It's messy covering current and active cases. And there's a bunch of information coming out and everything's happening in real time, but you have to account for this exact type of stuff happening. Hi, Crime Curious. I love random blurts. Do you think you'll ever be able to look at crimes again now that you've experienced reading the documents yourselves? What do you mean experience? Do you ever think you'll be able to look at crimes again? What do you mean? Well, thank you, Samantha. You know, like I've definitely expressed my opinions about Al in the past. And, you know, because I've seen, I guess, newer subscribers recently be like, well, you haven't called out Al. Actually, I have. I very much have in the past. And when I say in the past, it was during, you know, Leticia's trial and right after. But just because this is the way I see it, I'm choosing to continue covering this case. And not so much the case. I'm choosing to understand Leticia, what can drive a person to do this, trying to understand the psychology behind it, trying to, understand the case, understand the sequence of events, you know, study human behavior, body language, everything. Because I'm making the choice to do this series, I don't think it's necessary, though, as I cover this every day, to continue to express and call him out with my feelings. Because I asked myself, do I think he thought this was going to happen? The answer was no. When I realized the answer was no, then okay. I already expressed my opinions. I know how I feel. He's going to have to live with that. But at the end of the day, he's still gone through something that no parent should ever have to go through. And this woman tortured him. There's no doubt about that. I don't agree with many things Al has done. I don't agree with many things Al has said. And yes, I think many people, most people, all people failed Gannon in one way or the other, in some more significant than others. But as I continue forward, I don't feel it's necessary because I feel like I've done it already. And now I'm going to move on and focus where I feel the focus needs to be. And that is not on a grieving father, because he is a grieving father. So I hope that clarifies. But I have called him out, and but I will not continuously do it just because I'm making the choice to continuously cover Leticia. Oh, we absolutely have. We've been covering Chad and Lori. So I go back with Allie and actually Jen Liu too. Very long time. And I've been covering Valo and Chad with Allie for years, you know, like from the beginning. Same thing with Gannon. I had to go through my channel the past couple of days, and I was scrolling and I found an old video of me and Allie with Gannon's case, like from the beginning of my channel. And same thing with the Valo and stuff. So absolutely, we all cover these cases, and we absolutely will be covering Chad Daybell's case. Well, I don't think the affair isn't what I was ever upset with him about. I think I do think he used Leticia as a babysitter. I think that there absolutely was 1,000,001 warning signs. The attention was brought to him about abuse, potential abuse, and he chose to ignore it. That's what my issues were, and statements and comments he made during the press conference at a speaking event at the church, many things I do not agree with. It puts a very bad taste in my mouth. With that being said, he is still a grieving father and going through something that nobody should ever, ever, ever have to go through. It is not my place to continue to push my feelings out there on him. Leticia is accountable. He's going to have to live with any decisions that he may or, may made or may not have made. Yeah. Landon had it rough, and I had to apologize to Landon, not personally, just on my channel too, because once again, another example of taking what you hear and forming your opinion. I do cover Sarah Boone, and I'm covering her trial also. I had a lot of Sarah Boone content on my channel, but yeah, anytime there's another letter from Boone, we cover it, Night Stalker. But I formed my initial opinion of Landon technically based on things I heard from Leticia's narrative she was posting in the Facebook groups. I had formed my opinion that Landon was an absent mom because of addiction and down that narrative line. You guys have seen the post that Leticia made. I did episodes on it, and I had to realize, oh wow, this was Leticia, and that was the entire point. So again, we need to be aware of this in active cases in real time. This stuff happens, and not to be so quick to jump. All of this stuff is not going to be there, Night Stalker, right now. There's going to be some, but all of my Boone content's not going to be up because, like I said, I just have been pulling and moving things left and right the past couple of days. But in the future, anytime there's a Boone update or her upcoming trial, even though it just got pushed again, I do cover it, just to give you the heads up. So, real quick, let me go through these last few pages. We'll skim them for any details jumping out, and then you guys let me know what you want to go through for today, whether it's listening to the Troutman interview or lies on the phone calls. So, investigators took swabs from Gannon's toothbrushes. They took Gannon's DNA profile, which was found from the blood in the garage, Nike shoes, Gannon's bedroom. Leticia's DNA was recovered from her Nike shoes, and the lab results corroborate the theory that Gannon was indeed murdered in his bedroom, brought into the garage, his remains loaded in the Volkswagen Tiguan, and then disposed in an unknown location. So these are what tested positive for blood. The piece of carpet found inside a carpet roll in the utility room. So in that storage unit, she took the first piece of cut out carpet that had blood on it and put it in another carpet rolled up in the storage room. Then the rear hatch of the Tiguan, directly underneath the rear hatch of the Tiguan, again, the rear hatch of the Tiguan, the carpet at the base of the garage stairs, the carpet fibers in Gannon's room, the corner of Gannon's bedroom on the carpet, the electrical outlet cover in G's room, the electrical socket, backside of the carpet, the top of the foam in the carpet, the trunk area of the Tiguan, the teal couch pillow in the basement, and the Nike shoes. So Leticia was potentially disconnecting her cell phone from the cellular network for hours to prevent law enforcement from determining her location. She did this specifically on January 28th when she was disposing Gannon's remains. Leticia had a conversation on January 28th at 5:14 with Stephanie, the children's babysitter. There is no indication that Gannon ever went to a doctor, and Leticia never brought up that with investigators. Some, but not all of their conversation is below. So this is from Stephanie at 5:14 a.m. on the 28th. This happened or after 3:13. We talked to him then and told him to be home by 5, which again, Leticia always says we to make it seem like both her and Al told Al or talked to Al. No, it was just her. Stephanie said, someone posted he wasn't at school either. Leticia says he had to go to the doctor for his stomach, but he was here in the afternoon. Stephanie says, where did he say he was at? Leticia says, honestly, I don't keep up with friends. So remember, I told you guys in the very beginning, Leticia claimed Gannon had a doctor's appointment. He did not. Her story was constantly changing. There was no odor of smoke and no evidence of smoke, okay, from the basement. And the basement smelled like coconut and was very pleasant. And burns do not produce wounds that bleed profusely. But Leticia said, when we came back inside from the smoke, there was blood on both of us. I didn't know what to do. I was scared I would get fussed out about it, and I didn't know if I should go to the doctor. I kept trying to add the candle thing, but Albert kept saying it was small and minor. I was scared the basement was smoky, and when I threw the covers on everything, we both had blood. You don't understand how hard it is to be a stepmom. Always, always, always with the stepmom shit. So Leticia had Harley buy the carpet powder, baking soda, trash bags. That was to clean up the blood. So they couldn't recover all the GPS because Leticia disconnected from the cellular network. Leticia had several notes stored in her iPhone. And then there were notes that appeared to reference her unhappiness in her relationship and shed some light on potential household instability. So she was doing crazy Google searches. We know about that. So she was not happily married to Al. She does not provide motive to the murder, but it does shed light on her inquisitive thoughts of her position with the family, memorialized in her Google search engine. I also direct the court's attention to the way Leticia's search terms are sometimes entered. Leticia hits the quotations key instead of the space key multiple times when searching the internet in approximately 44% of her searches. This will be significant because on Gannon's phone, she uses the same thing when she texts as Gannon, which shows that it's her texting, not Gannon. So here we are with those infamous searches, which we've gone through 1,000,001 times. We don't need to go through again. And there were internet searches that were deleted from her phone. They couldn't figure out specific times, just that they were conducted prior to EPSO seizing the phone on the 29th. These were the ones deleted. Find me a new husband. I feel like I'm a nanny, not a stepmom. Husband uses me to babysit his kids. Are there any free money to move away from bad situation? My husband never posts about me, but does everything else. My husband only cleans up for the army, not me. I'm just a glorified babysitter. Find me a new husband. Sent my husband sexual messages and he ignores me. Makes my husband want me more. I feel like my husband uses me to babysit his kids. Find a guy without kids. So during the first 24 to 48 hours of Gannon's disappearance, Leticia rented a vehicle, turned her cell phone off for 4 hours, washed her Tiguan immediately before coming to an interview, evaded law enforcement's attempts to conduct an interview, and did not participate in the search for Gannon. On Tuesday, January 28th, Leticia texted Harley to pull your car into the garage, presumably to temporarily cover up any evidence left behind. On January 28th, investigators asked Leticia for Gannon's toothbrush to recover his DNA. At 16:04 to 16:17 hours, they asked Leticia for Gannon's toothbrush. At 16:19 hours, Leticia did a search. They are asking for our son's toothbrush, but said nothing is wrong. At 16:31 to 16:33 hours, Leticia has a text conversation with Al. Leticia, something isn't right. I think they are hiding something. Al, who? The police? Yes, they asked for toothbrushes. What do you think they're hiding? Leticia also made a statement to investigators via text. Leticia believed that she was a subject in his disappearance without any prior prompting from law enforcement of notification of such. So this is on January 28th. Leticia made a statement to investigators via text message. At the time of this statement, Gannon had been missing for approximately 27 hours, and Leticia believed she was a subject in his disappearance without any prior prompting from law enforcement. So she wrote, "What do you guys want from me? Because I have nothing. One of your very own leaked to me what you guys were doing. I did nothing and/or I'm being set up. I'm not really even sure other than being told that by another blue with El Paso. I was told I couldn't go home to sleep. And on top of that, men were sent to a home with a minor female. And she was forced to stay there, not to even leave for food. Every conversation that's said at this moment, I could hear inside. What do you want from me?" That's when she told them, because when she sent this text, investigators were at the house with Harley there. And that's when she told them, every conversation that's said, even at this moment, I can hear inside, implying that she was tapped in to like the Alexa or something where she could hear what they were saying. And so that's when they shut off all the Wi-Fi and stuff. But really, it probably was just Harley communicating to her mom what they were saying. Detective Bethel said, "Come in to talk to me. I would just like information to find Gannon." Talk about paranoia. The horror. So investigators believe Leticia used the rented Nissan to return to the area in which she disposed of Gannon's body. They recovered a piece of particle board with Gannon's blood on it. So these are her movements. The fact that Leticia came back to this area on January 31st is significant. Leticia returned to this area Leticia disposed of Gannon's remains at nighttime and likely was nervous about the location she chose and may not have even remembered exactly where she dumped Gannon's remains. Investigators believe that on January 31st, she went back to that area to view the area while sunlight was available, to ensure no evidence was viewable from the road, to ensure his remains were adequately covered to prevent detection. So it shows that the Tiguan showed the Tiguan in the area of Highway 105. It shows the Tiguan stopped for 5 minutes in the area proximate to the recovery of Gannon's blood. It's showing those movements. Investigators tapped in and monitored Leticia's phone calls, specifically with Al at the direction of law enforcement. Leticia changes her stories, will also include exculpatory information related to Leticia's statements. Leticia never admitted to killing Gannon. So here is a summary of Leticia's statements directly through the media and or to Al in recorded email and voice communications. On January 27th, Leticia stated Gannon left to play at a friend's house and did not come home at 6 o'clock like he was supposed to. On January 29th, Leticia stated she was held at gunpoint, schmaped, and Gannon was abducted by her schmapedist. Within her falsehoods, there are details corroborated by physical evidence that would be near impossible to know without being intimately involved in the murder. She has made statements to explain blood on the walls, blood on the rear bumper, blood in the garage. Details of the location of blood evidence has not been released to the media, nor to Leticia, and has been closely held throughout this investigation. Leticia has continued to provide alibis for her physical locations not previously disclosed to investigators. Her statements continue to evolve in a dramatic way and are remarkably different from the original report. The majority of conversations between Al and Leticia began around February 13th. Over several days, Leticia's story began to change. During a phone call on February 13th, Leticia stated that Gannon was burned by a candle to the point that his skin bubbled, and that Gannon peeled the burns off and wiped the blood on his bedroom wall. Al did not ask about blood on the walls of his room during this call. The fact that she provided information about the blood on the wall likely indicates her knowledge of the murder scene. So these were so important, these calls. She gave them the information they needed. Hold on, guys. I need to mute for 1 second. All right. I don't know who that was. Okay. So on February 14th, Leticia had another conversation with Al and provided 4 additional versions of Gannon's disappearance. Style 1. The abductor was still in her residence when the cops came, and that she tried to signal to the deputies that there was somebody in the residence. It should be noted that deputies checked the entirety of the house and nobody was there. Story 2. She was schmaped by Quincy Brown at the house and Brown abducted Gannon. She knew Brown's identity because she saw a paper and his identification card fell out of his pocket that had his name on it. Leticia sent a photograph of Quincy Brown to Al via text message. It is noted this photograph mirrored images online wherein Quincy Brown was listed as a most wanted suspect. Story 3. Quincy Brown followed her from Petco and at some point was laying in the middle of the road in front of her car. When Leticia stopped to avoid running the man over, he jumped into her car and made her take him home, then schmaped her. Story number 4. Leticia and Gannon were near County Line Road Highway 105 in northern El Paso County on January 27th. Gannon was riding a bicycle in that area and fell off, hit his head, and was then abducted by Quincy Brown. In this version of events, Quincy Brown was driven by a man named Terrence. The February 14th story number 4, has several very interesting considerations. During the period of February 14th, it was public knowledge by virtue of media coverage that investigators were searching for Gannon in the area of Highway 105. Leticia brought this location up on her own without prompt and provided an alibi for why she was in that area. Leticia was adamant that investigators' efforts to search for Gannon in that area would be futile. This area turned out to be significant based on the Tiguan's location and that Gannon's blood was found. See, they were so... These calls were so important. Leticia's story lays the foundation for a reason why investigators may locate Gannon's body with head trauma. So Leticia, on February 15th, Leticia provided additional conflicting stories to Al, including the story that she told Al about Gannon falling off the bike was a lie because it is what she believed he wanted to hear. Leticia stated the blood in the corner of Gannon's room was a combination of hers and Gannon's. In this explanation, she stated that the abductor anally penetrated both her and Gannon with an object. Additionally, she was tied up at some point in the abduction, and the abductor was still present during the EPSO visit that night. Quincy Brown is 37 and was on America's Most Wanted. They were able to locate his photo on KKTV news site, where they describe Brown as a black male. And it is noted that in Leticia's story, she described her schmapus as a Hispanic male. The photo on this website appeared to be the same photo Leticia sent to Al. Brown has outstanding arrest warrants for failure to register as a schmex offender and failure to appear. I was able to find a criminal history for Quincy, which was first-degree kidnapping, which was, felony menacing. They have no evidence to support Quincy Brown was involved. So they found a piece of particle board that had blood on it. It was collected. This is it, but you can't see it. The particle board was covered in approximately 6 to 12 inches of snow, which I want you guys to understand, because, hi, Samantha Lewis, I want you guys to understand that also contributes to Gannon's decomp. A lot of people ask, why wasn't the van overwhelming in smell when they were traveling across the country to Florida before she dumped him? Gannon's body was with that particle board for a long period of time. And his body may have been frozen. So the particle board was covered in 6 to 12 inches of snow. And at this point, they thought Gannon's remains may have been scattered because of wildlife, such as bears, coyotes, and mountain lions. They didn't know she picked him back up and moved him at this point. So Leticia provided different stories to different people about Gannon's disappearance. Leticia provided false information to her sister and family members. Leticia provided different stories to what happened to Gannon. Leticia told a female believed to be Tila Cummings that she has been giving Al numerous false stories because she knows he will not believe anything she says. Leticia told a female believed to be associated with Laura Abernathy that she was thinking about flying out to Colorado to take a lie detector test to prove her innocence. During that call, she stated, "They think I'm still in Colorado." Leticia told another female that she is going to take a lie detector test, but that the test is not admissible in court and no law enforcement would be present. So on February 18th, Leticia called fakepolygraph.com and stated she never got her confirmation for the test she paid for. Oh, man. So fake polygraph test. Get a fully verified fake polygraph test certificate proving you have taken a real polygraph test. You choose the questions, location, and results. We send you a fully verified report within 1 business hour. The fake polygraph results are emailed I don't know what that word is. A local and real polygraph company. If your partner calls the authentic company, our team will confirm the test results. We are sure they will believe you. We have nationwide real polygraph companies in the following countries: UK, Ireland, Australia, USA, and Canada. So not only will they provide you the fake polygraph, they will literally have a number to where if somebody calls to try to verify it, they will verify it. Oh, this sneaky. If your partner calls, we will confirm this is a legitimate polygraph test. Our polygraph reports are 3 to 4 pages and replicate a real report. The local polygraph company branding and contact details are the fake polygraph test report. The polygraph test results are emailed from a real polygraph company. She was blocked by management on the content of the questions, and it were illegal activities. What do you do now? Just delete it and go on about life and keep the money? Yes, we do indeed. Oh, okay, I got you then. Thank you. Goodbye. Did you participate in any way in causing harm to your stepson? No. Did your stepson return with you to your home? Yes. Did you participate in any way in causing the death of your stepson? No. So reason to believe that Leticia is unhappily married to Al and had some degree of resentment towards the family as a step-parent. Days before Gannon's murder, Leticia appeared to be researching a move to another state to a 2-bedroom apartment. Leticia did not provide truthful statements. And Leticia made claims that she was being set up. Leticia changed her story continuously. She changed her story to label herself as a victim of schmape, felony menacing with a weapon, and assault, resulting in Gannon's abduction by her schmapist. Her stories continued to evolve to include a new location of Gannon's disappearance over 30 miles away, several completely different set of circumstances, and unprompted explanations for why Gannon's blood would be found by investigators. Leticia was unable to provide a logical reason why she rented another vehicle when she still had access to the Tiguan. Gannon's mattress had blood all over it. And based on the orientation of the room, that's where Gannon's head and upper torso would have been. Gannon's blood was on the particle board in the area where Leticia had been. During her stories to Al, without prompt, Leticia provided explanations for why the blood would be found on Gannon's wall. Other than Leticia being present for Gannon's murder and being present for the cleaning of the murder scene, there is no reasonable explanation for how Leticia would know that. Gannon had been missing for 4 weeks, and there's been national news attention. Leticia was the last person to see Gannon alive. Investigators have not located Gannon's remains at this point. There is probable cause to arrest Leticia, committed the offense of murder in the first degree, a child under 12 in a position of trust, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. Sworn and subscribed before me this 20th day of February 2020. And then she was arrested March 2nd. Okay. So there we go, guys. That was the rest of the warrant. Woo! I'm trying to be careful with the words, Allie. So, have you guys decided what you want to listen to? Do you want me to take a quick poll? Do you want to listen to the Troutman interview, which, again, it might put an icky taste in some people's, because it's not going to be accurate information. She went out and, told these stories. Or do you want to continue with the phone calls and Leticia's extreme lies? We will listen to both. It's just a matter of what do you want to start with today. And while we wait, if you could hit the thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. What do you want to do? Troutman interview? Or Leticia phone calls? That was the actual warrant, Stassi, yeah. All right, here, let me take a quick poll because okay. Start a poll. All right. The poll is up. I will give it 1 minute. So do 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 do. Like I said, we can listen to, we'll eventually do both, it's just a matter of what you guys want to do today. That interview is no longer up on the original channel, though. Well, that's what I mean, Valkyrie. It's not like, oh, if we don't do one today, that's it. No, it's just what do you want to start today? Oh, it's close. It is close. It is close. Get your votes in. Get your votes in. Right now, it's sitting at 44% Troutman interview, 56% Leticia calls. Go do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. I will give it one more minute. 64 votes. We are 44% Troutman interview, up 43% Troutman interview, up 44% Troutman interview, 43% Troutman interview, 45% Troutman interview, 55% Leticia calls. So I'm going to put my timer on just because it's fun. Timer. 60 seconds. 60 seconds. Ready? Start. All right, it's going. Once this goes off, that's it. We are at 55% Leticia calls, 45% Troutman interview. So it is almost half and half. So %43 Troutman interview, 57% Leticia calls. Hit that thumbs up while we are waiting. 30 seconds left on the clock. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Troutman is the woman. She is the mother of the child who was Gannon's friend, and she made some heavy claims against Al, but she claimed she saw Al loading a gun right after Gannon's disappearance, and some just crazy things. This was years ago. Okay. Time is up. Poll is ended. And we are at 56% says Leticia calls and 43% says Troutman interview. So we will start with the Leticia calls today. So she is the one who said that she literally saw after Gannon was reported missing that she went to go help look for Gannon, and instead of helping look, Leticia and Al, like she saw Al like starting to load a gun and like some things, like it was just really sketchy and weird. But her son was friends with Gannon, and she said that her son witnessed Al abusing Gannon, like things that unfortunately were used during the custody case with Landon and Al. But there are documents in the case files that we had gone through, so we had pulled that up yesterday or the day before. And so being that we had pulled them up and we saw the contacts, it was like, oh, you know what? Now that we saw this was the interview. Somebody said, I didn't realize it was the same person that was interviewed on WTAF. And so we're like, well, now if we want to go through it and listen to it, now that we have the full information and now that we know this was most likely said specifically for the purpose of the custody case, it would be interesting to go back over and listen and to be able to pull out, well, that's obviously not true, because now we have, different mind frame, different perspective, and the facts. And so that's the context of it. So, okay. So let me shut the timer off. And let's what does it mean, Valkyrie? My high moon is for my Crichton. I don't really think it has like a specific meaning other than it's just my emoji for my friend Crichton. Why? What do you think it means? Hi, Moon. Okay, let's pull this up. All right. Ready? So this is February 12th. Leticia's called to EPS.
Sheriff's Office Evidence. This is Chris.
Hi, yes. I was on hold earlier. I think you might have been busy or something, so I waited to call back for a little bit.
I'm sorry.
It's
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry. What time did you call?
I just called you like maybe 15, 20 minutes ago, and you said, hold on.
No, that wasn't. There's 4 of us working here, so that wasn't me.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't recognize your voice.
I just figured you were busy. Okay, so I'm trying to find out about some contents of mine that was in a car. So my book bag, which had a lot of my Social Security card.
Oh, you know what this one is? You know what this one is? This one is when Leticia was calling. Remember we went through these documents? This is the one where Leticia was calling to try to get the evidence out of the vehicle. And she said no, like this is an active investigation. So then Leticia's like, damn. So then she calls back and then she's like, hi. Yeah, this is Harley. Can I get my book bag out of the car? And then I'm a flight attendant. I'm a 17-year-old flight attendant. And it was very obviously Leticia. This is what that is, okay? Hi, Cynthia.
Our birth certificates and stuff that was in a car that's still impounded, and I just want to know. They gave me the purse one day out of it, but how can I get the book bag? And I need my MacBook for school.
Your MacBook. Okay. What is your name?
Harley Hunt.
Tisha. Seriously? Did you not think that this is why I would love to have really just like a very educated doctor on panel with us, because what I want to understand is, did Leticia actually believe that this would work? All of these instances, all of these times. That's what I'm saying, Nay. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, did she ever really believe, yeah, no, it's like she didn't even fucking put effort in. Same thing when I said yesterday about at the Twilight. All of the whole Twilight narrative, she didn't even bother to change the character names. The Volturi, for crying out loud, not even effort. There's no effort. Hi, Mia.
Harley Hunt. And do you have a case number so I can look it up?
Let's see this. I have this paper. It says agency number. Is that it? Or I have a VIN number?
It should be agency.
Agency number? All right. 2020-1382.
All right. Let's take a look here. Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And you said it's a book bag?
There's a black and white book bag that was in the back seat of the white Jetta. And it has like my passport, my social, my birth certificate, my dog paperwork, my MacBook.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, there's like there's one blue bag that had a MacBook in it. And then there was a black and white book bag, and there was like my diamond rings were in it. And then there was a pink folder that had like my birth certificate and all that in it.
Okay.
Remember the document that I pulled up in a previous episode? Hey, ATS. ATS, are you going live tonight? Remember the document I pulled up that showed how Leticia texted Bethel from a new number, and she's like, are you still working this case? And Bethel was like, new phone, who dis? She, not really, but she was like, who is this? And she's like, listen, I need my passport. I really want to help you guys, but I need my passport. And I know that sounds crazy, and I could go get another passport if I need it, but trust me, like, I need my passport and I'll be able to help you guys find Gannon. So just, can you help? And it's like, yo, seriously? First of all, you don't even say, it's me, Leticia. You just jump right in. I know I've shown it, Cynthia. But you actually, this is what I mean. I need a doctor to explain this to me. Tell me, like a psychologist, tell me in her brain how this is working. You texted the investigators on the case. Please, yo, I need my passport. I know that sounds crazy, but this is what's going to help me actually find Gannon. Yeah, sure. Come on in, Leticia. We'll hand you that passport. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Did you say an interview, Cynthia? Like an actual interview? Or are you talking about... If you're talking about an actual interview, actually, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I thought you meant the documents.
Let's see here.
Like, I understand they might still be holding the car, but like, I can't like even like work or anything without having my passport because I'm a flight attendant. And
Okay.
I'm sorry, you're a what? You're a what?
No.
Yes.
No, sir. I mean, John, no.
She lies so much. Hi, Pinche. She lies so much, she just believes it. She just believes it. Are you talking about the documents, though, or are you talking about, like, an actual on-screen interview? If you're talking about the document, yeah, I went over the document. Where she bit him and stuff. That's right. She literally cannot see herself from outside of herself. She cannot put herself in another's shoes or empathize. So cannot see herself from another perspective. Empathize? Yeah, empathize. Then you probably heard it from my channel, Cynthia. I had gone over a few episodes ago, the document where it was Leticia's ex, and she ended up biting him, and she got charged, and she went crazy on him, and then she asked him to watch Harley while she went out and dated other guys, and then he went 9 months without seeing her, and then one day cops showed up and arrested him for assaulting her earlier that day, and he's like, I have not seen her in 9 months, and then they eventually got dropped, but she's one crazy bitch.
And you said your name was Carly Hunt, is that correct?
Harley Hunt.
Harley Hunt. Okay, Harley. Well, I can tell you right now, everything on this case is evidence. So because it's evidence, I cannot release it back to you without written authorization from basically a higher authority. They have not given us any written authorizations to release. So unfortunately, what you may want to do is contact the detective on this case. Have you been in contact with anybody?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, let me go ahead and get the lead detective's number for you, and you can call them in reference to this. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hold on just 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, Harley?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be Detective Bethel.
Okay.
And her desk number is going to be 520.
Detective Bethel, you know, the one you popped her fucking arm out of its socket. You know Bethel. I'm going to skip past the number. Okay, so the next recording is between Al and Tisha.
Hello? Tisha? Fucking games. Hello?
Hey.
Hey, why didn't you say anything?
I did. I said hello. It's just hard because I have to get service off Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So what's up?
I'm a little hungry.
You still haven't eaten anything?
No.
Huh?
No.
How many times? How many times are we going to do this, Tisha? How many times are we going to do this? Are you going to do this again, Tisha? Every freaking time we hear from Tisha, Tisha says she hasn't eaten anything. Every time. Yet miraculously, her jaw just seems to be getting bigger and bigger on its own. She just keeps transforming. Her body is just doing its own thing despite not eating. Every phone call, every text message, everything, she says, I have not eaten anything. I haven't eaten anything in weeks. In the jail calls that we hear that Allie goes through all the time, I haven't eaten anything in weeks. What? Are you kidding me? Every time, just last night, we heard the same thing. I haven't eaten anything. Bullshit, you haven't. Bullshit, you haven't. Just stop. Seriously.
Why not?
Because I don't have any money or cards. They have all that. They have all my debit cards, credit cards.
Who has all that?
They have it from my car. I don't have anything from my car.
Oh, you didn't have it with you?
I did. I had my purse with me, but they took my purse and they took my Apple Watch and all that. They took everything I had possession on.
Why did they do that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess the same reason they took everything that was in my book bag and Holly's car. I mean, they even took the dog paperwork and my social security card and my birth certificate. My passport, which is why I can't be at the airline because I have to have a passport.
You're not working at the school anymore? I thought you had the early college thing going on.
We're doing that again, all right? Even after Gannon's murder. That's why I can't go work at the airline because they took my passport. That's not why you can't work at the airline. You never were going to work at the airline. The lie determined that was a lie. Everything, like, you lie. Like, this is a sickness, guys. This is a sickness. You lie about things that aren't necessary to lie about. You lie about the most ridiculous things.
Right. They took my laptop, then they took my car. So I called them and said, hey, I don't have a way to get to work right now. I'm going to work on it. I should have my car back in a day or two. Well, I'm still waiting, and I don't have a way to get to work. And as soon as I don't have a way to drive to Denver, and I don't have a passport because I have to have my passport and my crew badge to get on DIA.
So you
And
still
no one can seem to help me get any of it.
Who's no one, like the police or whatever?
Like, I've called the evidence department several times and just been like, can I at least get my book back? Can I at least get anything that deals with my everyday life of operating, like my card, my passport? And then the guy was like, well, why do you need your passport? I said, well, it's required by FAA to have it with you at all times, or you cannot even get to the airport. You can't do anything.
Yeah, you told me that. I forgot. I'm sorry.
So I just want to get my contents like that, because how am I supposed to work if I don't have any of it?
Yeah, I know.
You've been placed on hold. Please wait for your contact to return.
Hello?
Where is she calling from? This was their house, nay. This was their house. It's a walkthrough of their house. She is a pathological liar. Right. I don't know what about that, Melly, right? There's some, now I've interacted with people who do lie about, like, what you're saying, like what you ate for lunch, what happened at work, the weather, but never to like this, you know, like this is insane.
That was weird. Hello?
Hey.
What happened?
The Wi-Fi, I don't have a number, so the Wi-Fi just died, so I had to use this Indian dude's number here, phone number here, to call you back on, because I only have Wi-Fi.
What? First of all, why do you have to describe him as some Indian dude? Okay. And in her Google searches, she also, hi, Mandy Wilcox. Happy Friday. Hi, Katrina. She lies about lying. Yes. Hey, Shaq. Wait, did I see Shaq? No, I didn't. Never mind. I said hi to somebody who wasn't here. But she even Googled about an Indian reservation and being able to get off something about that. So why you have to describe him as some Indian dude? But I do not think that you tap some guy, hey, mister, on the shoulder. Can I use your phone? It goes to Shacto. I don't know why I just said hi, Artemis Prime. I highly doubt you. Hey, mister, some Indian guy on the shoulder. Can I use your phone? And he lets you just do these calls for hours. Are you kidding me? No, sir. No, Jim John Doe. No.
Okay.
But anyway, so like, I don't have any of that stuff. So I'm not trying to purposely not go to work, not do anything. I just need help obtaining any of it to even do anything.
Well, I'm having trouble too because they still freaking got my truck and my, you know how I have those badges I got to get in.
Yeah.
I can't freaking get into my secure part of my job, so I can't even do what I'm supposed to be doing either. So it's freaking driving me nuts.
And so like the people are fussing at Harley because she needs her high school diploma and she needs a report with her ID, social, and high school diploma. And I'm trying to explain to them what's going on.
Yeah.
And like I just can't get any help because she's supposed to be there every week on base doing stuff. Because she leaves in 28 days.
For basic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did anything ever happen with that job? That new MOS?
Yeah, the guy wants to talk to her about it. That's why he told her, he said to come in, but we didn't have a way, so we explained that to him. So we didn't have a way. We don't have a way to get on base because they have IDs. They have everything. It's in the book bags, everything.
Okay. What were you talking? What is what was that thing you said you called? I just popped in my head. CIB or something?
Yeah, you guys, I'm trying to talk to you about like help, and I'm not downing or talking about anyone, but they don't need to be the lead agency if they're not going to lead. So the Colorado Bureau of Investigations can even look at it from a different approach. So I called the Colorado Bureau of Investigations and I talked to someone and they're going to call me back.
What did you tell them?
I didn't say anything bad about anyone. I just said there's a lot of key things that they're choosing to leave out. And I said, it's becoming a witch hunt after one person. I said, when they're barking up the wrong tree and they're not even following what credible things that I've told them.
Well,
they want tips from the public, but the public was not there.
Well, what credible things have you told them? That's what in our emails I'm trying to, and I know you said you were waiting to talk to me and everything, but what is it that you've told them? Because I know we had some, uncertainty about some of the things initially, and that's fine. But like, what is it that you told them that they're not looking at? Can you walk me through it? I know I asked you for that timeline.
Hold on 1 second. I can't breathe. Give me 1 second.
Take your time. Just try to get some deep breaths.
I'm just trying to put the window down on this stupid thing because. Oh.
Hey! You can't drive off with the Indian guy's phone. The hell you think you're doing? Sorry. But in my mind, I laugh at this type of stuff because in my mind, I imagine like when I hear the ding, ding, I imagine like Tisha just driving away and this just Indian guy chasing down the street. Hey! Get back here! Give me my phone! Come on! You said you had to use some Indian guy's phone. I don't know why you had to describe what race he was or ethnicity. Come on, what are you doing? But are we supposed to believe he let you take it to your car and drive away too? Or did you take his car with him? Hey, mister, yeah, can I use your phone for a moment? Okay. And then she just takes it to do her infinite 8-hour-long calls. She gets in her car. Peace. Like, what is going on? But Leticia. Did you not think, even by the length of the calls, that it would be very obvious that you were not using some random guy, some random stranger's phone. But clearly, clearly, you're definitely not on the phone if you're in your car driving away, okay? Oh my God, it's so bad.
Any objection? All objections.
Fuck, Leticia.
And like I'm having to like run into people I don't even freaking know. They could be mad killers and shit to be like, hey, can I use your phone? Hey.
You are the killer. You are worried about the people you have to ask. Meanwhile, the people you're asking should be worried about you, because not only are you the mad killer, you're also using all of their minutes and you're driving off with their phone. Leticia. See, you're a moron, and for some reason didn't account for them being able to have the data from the phone and determine that you're a liar and you're calling from the text-free apps and constantly changing your phone number. But please tell us how concerned you are about running into a darn killer.
Hey, can I sit in your car for a minute? Hey, do you think I could drive your car to the store?
You stop it. You stop it, Tisha. You are not asking anybody if you could sit, pop a squat in their automobile for a moment. You knock that nonsense off right now. Hey, yeah, can I pop a squat in your passenger side of this hot automobile? Can I borrow this auto? Who the fuck are you asking that to? You got the Piggly Wiggly and you just asking random people in the parking lot if you could borrow their fucking Buick? I don't think so, Tisha. I don't think so. Who are you kidding? Yet it rolls right off her tongue so effortlessly, so easily.
I know I'm starting to feel some heat too. Like I told you when I went to Bass Pro Shop last night, I wanted to get some clothes, but I was trying to hope to run into you on the north end, like you said you were out there, but
I am.
Well, like I said, I was just trying to hope to bump into you or something, but I feel like I'm having to hide now. That's why I went and got some redneck clothes, like the clothes that you don't like, because all those nice clothes I have at the house that you got me, I would just stick out like a sore thumb, and I'm just trying to hide too.
Well, I don't know how long you got, but I just wanted to start with you for Saturday what I have.
Okay. Listen, I scooted away for lunch, so probably hour and a half, so we got plenty of time.
All right. What do you mean scooted away from lunch? You don't have a car?
Yeah, I got a rental car. Uncle Jeff helped me out with a rental car, but I just had to get away from all them people, like I've been telling you. It's just crazy. So.
Are you staying by yourself?
Me and Uncle Jeff.
Okay, so your Uncle Jeff is there with you.
Yeah,
okay.
It's been me with my family members the whole time. So
how long can your Uncle Jeff stay?
I have no clue. It's people have been kind of jumping in and out, but.
Well, I just didn't want you to be by yourself because I've been trying to be with you because I don't think that you should be by yourself with them because it's a bunch of vultures. That's all.
Listen, there's some dangerous people out there, okay? There's vultures out there. There are some people who will lie to you. There are people who are dangerous, violent. There are people who will kill. And I think you should share your bed with me so I could be there for you and I could protect you from those people. What? I'm sorry. What? Oh, Tisha. You are the fucking vulture. You are what comes down and picks the eyes out of a carcass. That is you. You were so mad that Al would not share his bed with you. You used this man and used the knowledge of where his son's body was and said, in exchange for sharing your bed with me, will I tell you or help you find your son? How pathetic. If you were not here for that episode, I would look at that. I would watch that episode because the text messages leading up to the day Leticia got arrested was really telling. Leticia was taunting him. She'd turn on the news and she would see that investigators were searching in the spots that she would be at. And it'd be like, Gannon's not there. Keep looking. Have they found him yet? You're too busy worried about your cock than focusing on your son. Gannon's alive. I'm the only one who cares about him. Time's a ticking. You haven't found him yet. Gannon's alive and out there. She was torturing him. And only if he agreed to get his family back together, only if he agreed to share his bed with you, would you then give him the key information that would lead him back to his son? What did you think was going to happen, Leticia? Did you think Al would say, okay, fine, come back. Let's get our family back together. And did you think you were going to go on and he was going to ever really love you? Even if he did say okay, did you not realize he was going to do what he was going to have to do to get the information of where his son was? Did you ever really think that that wasn't going to be fake? And what would have happened if he did say okay? What would have happened if he did say, okay, Tisha, come back home. I want our family to be a unit. Now give me the information of where Gannon is. What were you then going to do? Or did you not think that far ahead? You definitely didn't think that far ahead. The same way that you were begging him to show up to the doctor's appointments for the ultrasound since you were 8 weeks pregnant. What if Al turned around and said, okay, when's your next ultrasound appointment? We both know what you would have done. You would have faked a miscarriage before then, right? The same way that you faked a miscarriage the day you were arrested when you were being interviewed with Grusing. And then you were taken to the hospital only for it to be proven that you were not pregnant to begin with. You are sick. There is not words to describe this person. And I will not call her a woman because she does not deserve the title of a woman.
Yeah, I'm starting to slowly see that. So, but yeah, let's just do this timeline because I want to hear your timeline so I can try to make sense.
I just want to go from Saturday. Okay, you said you wouldn't question, you would just listen.
Saturday.
I want you to listen.
Tisha, Saturday. Like, what do you mean Saturday? Like right before me and Mama left. Saturday.
After you left. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Right. Okay. So this is the paper I have. I had to get it notarized because that's what that guy said to do. Right after whoever found us and took Harley's car, that's where we had left from was the attorney. But anyway, right. So I'm going to just go through certain things. I'm not going to read it verbatim how he did it because it would be more of like in law terms. But, key one, Albert and his mom left for Denver. We put DEN in there. Around the house, cleaned up. G helped with stuff. Helped me get stuff out of his car. Gannon's always barefooted because that was something that he asked me. Even taking the trash out, things like that. He took the trash out. He stepped on something in the garage. So my car parked. You had those boards that were underneath my car, right?
Yeah.
So Gannon was going to go help because he was saying that there was some kind of piece out there that was going to help me. You know the little zip ties that you have on things and it's hard to get off?
Yeah.
Okay. So he knew where something was at to go pop this off. So he was going to go get it.
This was in reference to Saturday night, just to give you guys context. So according to Leticia's version of events, Saturday, Monday is when Gannon was killed, the 28th. Sunday, the 27th, is when the candle incident took place, and it's also the day that they went on the hike. Whatever happened with the candle incident, guys, there was blood. There was a lot of blood. And the candle incident was used to cover up the blood. It is unknown what injury occurred that caused that blood. She also said his skin was burned. Now we have Saturday, the 26th, the day Al left for the airport. So Saturday, she's saying he cut his foot. And the blood on the 2x4, the blood in the garage was from his foot. So according to Leticia, this kid was actively bleeding and injured from the moment Al left. Saturday, his foot cut open, bleeding. Sunday, candle incident, burned, bubbling, and a significant amount of blood that the candle was used to cover up. Into Monday, blunt force trauma, stabbing, and a shooting. This was not a quick death by any means. This is one of the most confusing parts of the case, is trying to understand the sequence of events, the order of the injuries. We have these days, yet we have these injuries. We have to account for the amount of blood, yet we also see him walking out on that footage. So we know, okay, whatever injury he sustained, he was able to walk out. Yet we also have the proof of life photos taken 2 hours prior to see him walking, and he doesn't look good. We also have Lena's statements and what she recalls of Gannon appearing like the night before. And so everything is so very hard. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say the 28th? 27th. Tuesday was the 28th. Sorry. This is what happens when I try to work backwards and do math backwards. The 28th was Tuesday. 27th is Monday. I apologize. 26th is Sunday. 25th was Saturday. I apologize. 27th, Monday, 26th, Sunday, 25th, Saturday, not the 28th. It is so hard to try to figure out what injuries occurred on what days with the candle incident. I feel haunts all of us the most. And the blood that was underneath that wax, underneath that burn, that's what's really haunting to me. because that was such a significant amount. It was such a significant amount. Let me show you one more time real quickly. Right here. What injury did Gannon sustain Sunday, the 26th? What injury was he bleeding that much from? Hey, Amy. The piece of carpet, she cut that piece of carpet out twice. Twice? Piece of carpet with blood cut out was found in the rolled up carpet in the storage room. What injury caused that blood? Monday morning on the 27th. He does not look good. His complexion does not look good. Yesterday in the arrest warrant, she took 2 proof of life photos the morning of the 27th. Both photos were from this angle, guys. Except Tisha was standing maybe a couple of feet, like maybe to the right, a couple more feet to the right in one, and then a couple more feet to the left in another. But it's pretty much the same shot, just a different, from a little different angle. Yet they were taken 5 whole minutes apart. I think one was at 8:12 and one was at 8:17 a.m. Ask yourself, because again, 5 minutes is a very long time. If you are just standing there, standing still, waiting, 5 minutes is a very long time. Now, in the photos, despite being 5 minutes apart, Gannon is in the same exact position. So Gannon was out. Ask yourself, what was Leticia doing there? Standing there. And in those 5 minutes that passed between the 2 separate photos she took, what was she doing? His hands are in different locations, Aaliyah. Let me try to pull them up, the other one up. Because I know she's standing in a different location. Hi, Janice. And his hand might be in a different location. Like, listen, he's alive. But my point is that the whole point I'm trying to get across is he isn't awake. So that's, it's not really so much did he move an inch or not. My point is that Leticia was standing there for 5 minutes while Gannon is very clearly out. So what was she doing? You know what I mean? What was she doing for 5 minutes between the two photos? Yet she's standing pretty much in the same position. It's the same shot, just in two different spots. 5 minutes? Did she go over? Did she move him? Did she position him? Was she hovering over him? Was she planning? Was she standing there thinking, should I do it now? What was she doing? Because I highly doubt she just stood in his room, took a picture, and froze for 5 minutes, and then moved 2 inches to the right and took another picture. There's a reason she was in there and that much time passed while he was sleeping. He does ATS. When these photos came out, we all very much speculated, I'm sure you remember, that he was no longer here in these photos. But then the footage of him walking, this is what I mean by there are pieces of this story that do not, I'm going to make a timeline for my next live to show you, like, it's just, we have on the 25th, according to Tisha, which we can't rely on, he was bleeding actively on the 25th in the jaw ATS. I know through the jaw with one, I have to check with the other. But on the 25th, he was actively bleeding with the foot. They went on the hike on the 26th, which is Sunday. And then we have the candle incident. But then we see him, though, walking 2 hours after this ATS. This is what I mean. It's crazy. It doesn't fit. So we have the candle incident. We have blood. Significant blood here. Significant blood here. This was covering something up. There's some injury Gannon sustained. There's also blood on the couch. Some injury Gannon sustained Sunday night that he bled enough for her to have to cover this up. Either way, we need to account for Gannon was injured. He had some injury that resulted in a significant bleed. He had hydrocodone in his system. It is unclear when exactly she administered it. I'm starting to believe it may have been before the kennel incident and he was knocked out and she was trying to set him up to make it appear a certain way. Yes, it's in the metadata. It's in the metadata. So then we have the video. We do not see Gannon. Yes, it was 87. We do not see Gannon, but we hear him crying, saying, I'm sorry. It was an accident. I'm worried about my burns. So now he does have burns. We know Leticia's not lying about that because we heard Gannon say he's worried about his burns. So he is bleeding and he is burned. Then we have, this is Sunday, but then we have Lena's statement saying that she and Leticia had to carry Gannon downstairs, and Leticia had to bend Gannon's legs because he couldn't walk, and that he was sleeping, and she like positioned herself on the couch with her legs straight out and her eyes closed. That's how she remembered seeing Gannon. And Harley on the stand said that Leticia made Harley go down and say goodnight to Gannon, and Harley stood in the doorway of Gannon's bedroom with the lights off and said goodnight to Gannon. She said she could see his head. He didn't say anything back to her. And they all went and slept upstairs because the basement was freezing and smoky and not okay for anybody to sleep down there, but it was okay for Gannon. So why was he all of a sudden passed out Sunday night? He went from crying to saying, I'm sorry, to now he's passed out. And Leticia and Lena have to carry him? Fast forward to now Monday morning, 8:17 a.m. Here's Gannon. He does not look good. He just spent the night sleeping in a freezing basement because Leticia had all the windows open to let the smoke out. His complexion looks very bad. It looks like he has been losing blood. He looks like he's cold. He does not look good. Except 2 hours from this photo, we see Gannon in the Ring doorbell footage from the neighbor. We see Leticia walking out to the Tiguan, and we see Gannon slowly walk and get into the back passenger of the Tiguan. And he's cradling his stomach, and he looks poorly, but he's walking on his own, and he gets into the car. At one point, it looks like he drops something, and Leticia even goes and picks it up, but he gets into the car. So then it's like, wait a second. So whatever injury, he's alive, and he was okay enough to walk. And then there's a footage of them getting back, but we don't see Gannon get out of that car. And then next thing we know is we see the evidence in the room, and there's blood spatter everywhere. So the question is, what the hell is the sequence of events? What injury did he have Sunday? Right here, what injuries did he already have? What injury accounts for that blood loss from the candle incident? Was he already on the hydrocodone? What happened? But according to what Leticia's saying, this poor baby was injured and actively bleeding Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Oh, thank you, Leticia Wilson. Look at that. Look at that. It's a lot of blood. I agree with that statement. I agree 100% with that statement. Timeout said, I think if we knew what happened, she would be worse than we ever imagined. There was blood found on the rear hatch and underneath the hatch of the Tiguan. And all in the garage and leading up. It was loading him up. And then this is Monday morning, the proof of life photos on the 27th. And this is Monday evening when the cops did the walkthrough. And as you can see, the pillow is missing. 2 blankets are missing. And the sheets aren't the same. Because she took the pillow, the comforter blanket, the throwover blanket, and the sheets. And those were within the suitcase along with Gannon's remains. At this point, they were still believed to be in the storage room. Thank you, Lisa. That's so kind of you. Thank you so, so much. It's very much appreciated. He does look very pale and very gray. Stop it, 87. I say it how I say it. It's a pillow. No, because they have other angle. They're able to confirm it. So gives you a bit of context now when you hear it.
You know the little zip ties that you have on things and it's hard to get off?
Yeah.
Okay. So he knew where something was at to go pop this off. So he was going to go get it because I had bought them some things from the clearance store. All right. So
see, Kathy,
Gannon cut his foot on those boards. We flipped the boards over because we were freaking out because I was like, oh my God, your daddy said don't get oil or anything from your car leaked on those boards. You know what boards I'm talking about?
The one, like the 2x4s that I have, like that you drive over to park in the garage.
Right.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I let Gannon sit down in the back of the car. You know how funny I am about my car. But also, we just bandaged it up, whatever. All we did was stick a bandage on it. Whatever. And I said something to him about, again, you gotta quit coming out here barefooted, which I do the same thing. I take dogs out barefooted anyway. Freaking cold weather.
Hey, let me ask you. Hold on, wait a second. I'm just thinking here, and I'm going to listen to everything. Just something that popped in my head. He always goes out the front door to do the trash. That's so weird.
Right, but he was helping me unload. Like, I had bought them a bunch of stuff in the clearance store. If you look in the garage.
I got you. Okay, I thought you said take out the trash. I'm sorry.
Well, he was. But let me explain this to you. There's 2 bags that was put in the garage because I had put a bunch of stuff in there. I went and bought them a bunch of crap that went on sale from the clearance store because they were changing over to, like, warm weather stuff. But obviously in Colorado, you can still wear the cold weather stuff, which I saw Lena online wearing, so therefore I knew it was in the house. Anyway, so my point was, he was really, helping me out, whatever, just talking to me about something. Who knows what he was talking about? He tells me about video games. I listen, but I don't understand them. Anyway, so he was bleeding on his foot, and we turned the boards over because I was like, oh my God, I was going to freak out, because these are the boards. He says, don't you get oil on my car, don't drip on my car, whatever. All right, so during this time frame, Gannon was supposed to be taking the trash out. I said, you might as well go and take out recycle, whatever. But Gannon kept going to the gate with nothing. And I kept saying, why are you going to the gate? He was like, I'm going to make sure the gate is locked. Well, okay, this is the first I'd known. I knew we were talking about locking the gate, but I didn't know Gannon had the key. I thought maybe you just had the key yourself, whatever. I didn't know Gannon had the key.
Babe, he didn't, but hold on. The key was in our room in the on top of the dresser the whole time. Remember, he kept.
But see, I didn't pay attention or remember any of that.
All right.
So he kept going out there with the key and saying that he was checking to make sure the gate was locked. Okay, benefit of doubt, maybe he was, because we had talked about making sure that gate was locked, or he could have been talking to somebody. I don't know. I'm not speculating. I know I got on him about.
He could have been talking to somebody. Now, I know that Wolfie constantly thinks that there's something about that side gate because she was constantly talking about him going to that side gate, him making sure it was locked. She did talk a lot about that. But you think he was talking to somebody? Really, Leticia? See, this is where Leticia went wrong in many ways. But Leticia, if you had nothing to do with this, you never would take the time to explain all of this, right? Because all of this would mean nothing, right? All of this would have nothing to do with Gannon being missing. So you would never be taking the time to explain this, because if you truly had no involvement in this, you'd be like, what the fuck does it matter about the key and what we did on Friday? Like, let's focus on finding him, right? Who gives a crap what happened on Friday? Like that, if it had nothing to do with it. But here comes typical Leticia logic, and she overcompensates, and she did have involvement. And so she is intertwining all of these stories and overdoing it and over explaining, because she's a dead giveaway. She's a dead giveaway. But come on, you want us to believe Gannon was meeting somebody on the side of the house? Come on.
Hey, doing this.
Yeah.
Well, underneath there was a rug. It was that rug that we stepped out on. It was a rug. There was blood on it. I had walked on it, and I was like, Gannon, we probably should just throw this away and find a new rug to put out here. So
what rug are you talking about again? So the one in the garage.
Right. When you step down. When you step down, there was a rug. I said, we probably should just throw this away. I said, because we can always just get another piece or another rug, or I'll go to Dollar Tree and get a rug, whatever.
I got you.
All right. So that was that. All right. So then on the next section, it says, I replaced rug, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yep. Bam. All right. And then
on the next section, yes. Oh, because if you didn't already know, she's reading from notes. So on my next section, it says yada, 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 replace rug. And then, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, then next, because, every innocent person with nothing to hide always has to have a list of notes and stories that they refer to when talking to their fucking husband about their missing child.
it says it says.
I got you.
All right. So that was that. All right. So then on the next section, it says I replaced rug, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yep. Bam. All right. And then it says we came in the house, and he immediately ran downstairs to the room. So then I kept going down there because his door was locked. He said he was keeping Lena out.
And I've told you, sorry to pause again, but I've talked to you guys about this a lot before. Oh, thank you, chicken shit. Yeah, I'm going to be going on camera more. But thank you. It's nice seeing you. But I've talked to you guys about this a lot before and how interesting the brain works. It's not saying that you can't ever take notes about something. Absolutely, you could take notes about something, even if it is a real event. But Leticia is not recalling from the memory section of her brain, the memory part of her brain. If she was recalling from the memory part of her brain, she wouldn't need notes like this. Notes, when recalling a memory, would be very specific details. You wouldn't need the notes for the plot of it. You would need notes for key details, like maybe a specific time, a license plate, like things that you would likely forget over time. And so you would write those notes down. That's logical. You would not need notes to recall a memory of what you did, because that's in your brain. But when it's not the truth, when you are creating it, you are not going to remember it the same way because it's not stored in your brain. You could think of whatever story you want. Your brain is not going to store it the way it stores a memory. It is two totally different areas. So she cannot recall because it's not real. So this, again, is another Leticia. Even if you had to do notes, you never should have ever told anyone, I'm recalling from notes. Write your fucking notes and keep your mouth shut. Because this was so obvious. You don't have to worry about forgetting when you're telling the truth.
Which, again, I didn't question because they always get where one minute they want to play with each other, next minute they're like, get out. Okay? So then I sat on the sofa to put on the Peloton shoes because I was going to ride the bike again because my friends said they were going to redo a later time that we could do the bike. Gannon kept coming in there saying, are you going to stay here? Are you going to stay down here? Are you going to stay down here? So I took it as if he was like excited I was going to stay down there and, just be able to run around and do whatever. But then I had to go upstairs and help Lena, yada, yada, yada. So I got on my statement, it says I was back and forth, but came back when I heard a loud noise. So there was a loud noise that happened downstairs. So, of course, I run back downstairs and realized, or so I thought, was a box or something fell over in the storage room. Sounded like something was really loud in the storage room, but I assumed that it was a box. Gannon had his...
There was something really loud in the storage room. I just assumed it was a box, but I don't know. But all I know is that there was something really loud in the storage room. So, I went down to go check, and I didn't know what it was, but all I know is that something really loud definitely happened in the storage room. So, did you hear that part though, Al? Did you get that? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so something definitely caused a loud noise in the storage room. I just thought it was a box. God damn, girl. Yes, she took notes to the police station, Angela. Yep, she did.
Door locked. So I knocked on the door. Of course, I'm like, hello, because I hear a loud noise. And so he opened and said I couldn't come in. And I was laughing. I'm like, why? And he told me he was doing something. I don't remember what he told me he was building. I'm sure it was something about the toy cons or Joy-Cons or whatever. I didn't think anything of it. Just, okay, he's building something, whatever. But there was a loud noise, and he was in his room. So then he said his stomach started hurting a little bit or whatever, so I told him to come upstairs. I had some special ice cream. I had these Pedialyte pops. I had already went and bought them because I thought, this time of year, this is when I got the bad cold last year, we'll take them. So I let him take the Pedia pops or whatever, and he took some Miralax. So that was a normal day for Saturday. Like, you were already, going on. You probably already got in the plane. We all laid down, yada, 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 right?
Right.
Okay, right. So you clear about Saturday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Crystal clear.
Sunday, all right? Sunday, we talked to you in the morning. Remember I told you, I sent you a few messages, and I was like, hey, we might go on a hike, whatever. Everyone's going to get dressed, Then suddenly we saw the news about Kobe Bryant. So then, of course, that delayed it because I'm sitting on the sofa crying, trying to figure out, like, oh my gosh, Kobe died. Is this true? Remember I messaged you?
This bitch had more emotion for Kobe fucking Bryant than she ever did, ever showed for Gannon. Now, I wish it was just her talking shit, except in her Google searches, and yes, Al full on yawned. And that was a passive-aggressive yawn. Her Google searches, you guys, she was actively looking up the Kobe Bryant crash. Throughout that entire time. Throughout the night, Sunday night into Monday, she would actively, like in between all of the crazy ass Google searches, she would keep up with that situation. She was Googling it. I think I have one of the screenshots sitting in here still, actually. Hold on. Yeah, right here. Don't look at what's circled, because I circled something about the bicycles, but if you look up, you see at the top, the first one, it says Vanessa Bryant, Google search. Then there's another one all the way at the bottom, Kobe Bryant helicopter crash. She was Googling it. That's the 27th. She cared more about the freaking crash. Cry curious, you're funny. She showed more emotion for Kobe Bryant than she ever did for Gannon.
We talked back and forth about it, whatever.
Yeah, I had just gotten to the airport at Lawton when you told me that.
Right. So Gannon hadn't talked at all. I mean, Gannon didn't know who Kobe was. Or maybe he knew from, like, hearing it, but didn't really know who Kobe was. He just noticed that I was sitting there, like, crying, like, oh, my God, you know, like, upset. And we were sitting there talking about it. So I was telling him that, hey, you know, Kobe has a lot of daughters. He only had sisters. You know, Gannon went over the whole, like, and I don't want you to think any of this is irrelevant, because I want you to think of anything that I say that might have triggered something.
Yeah, right. I'm listening very closely.
Right. So then we were talking about the daughters, and I was like, yeah, he always wanted a boy, but he never could have a boy. He had daughters, blah, blah. So then I let him in on a little secret, which I already told you over email what it was. Okay, I don't need to say it again. You already know. So me and him were talking about that. He was kind of like, really? And I told him, I said, yeah, you know, like, I lost a lot of babies. I said, it was kind of hard. I said, you want one thing and it don't ever happen. You know, I felt like I was in a situation to talk to Gannon about this, because we were over here upset, crying about Kobe. And so I was like, I'm telling you because I know that you'll be able to pray and keep a secret. And we were like, you know, kind of being silly about, oh, this is a secret we have between each other. We'll tell Daddy, you know, yada, yada, yada. So we sat there and talked about that for a little bit. So then Harley got called into work. So I was like, crap, we had everything packed, ready to go on a hike, had the Yeti, had everything. We were going to plan on staying for a while and then go get dinner. Well, she got caught on the hike, so we decided to take 2 hikes. So this is where all this confusion comes with hike, Harley went, hike, Harley not went. So we took the dogs on the hike through the trails in Lorson Ranch. So if you leave out of our neighborhood, go out to the side, go up to the little whatever, you could take the dogs on a trail, come back, yada, yada. So that's what we did first. Came back. Gannon had his water pack. I'm sure you saw the pictures online from Garden of Gods that some other creeper people took. He had his water pack on his back or whatever, so we got ready for round 2. So hike 2 was Garden of the Gods. So then it says, Garden of the Gods was our hike 2. So we went about 2 miles in, lots of talking about things. G asked me, did I know any of his mommy's friends from Coastal? It was a random thought process. So I just figured he...
Gannon asked you on the hike, do you know of any of my mommy's friends from Coastal? Come on. And notice how she specifically told Al, now listen, you know, like, I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm saying. You know, like, I'm not just going through all this for no reason. Just pay attention, because it might seem irrelevant, but maybe something stands out that is relevant, you know, like, that we could put together. Yeah, again, here's another instance where Leticia thinks she's outsmarting us. You're intentionally including things that's going to seem like it's going to jump out as a reason why Gannon may have left or why Gannon may have done something. How stupid do you think we are? You're literally even trying to, you're spelling it out for us. You're spelling it out for us. Thanks, guys. Yeah, definitely hit the thumbs up if you do not mind while we are taking this intermission. But yeah, it's she, pay very close attention, all this, I know this is irrelevant, but maybe, just maybe something will jump out. You mean like all of this bullshit that you're including to make it seem like these conversations took place that didn't, to make it appear like Gannon may have left on his own free will or something like that? You mean that? Yeah, Tisha, you're so smart. Look at you, Tisha. You're totally going to outsmart us.
He was trying to be curious about it. I said, and did I remember Brian? And we laughed about.
She's trying to be crime curious about it. Get it? Which, by the way, I'll drop Crime Curious's link, who also covers Letecia, and she has an amazing channel, and she's writing a book on the case of Letecia Stauch. So definitely check her out, guys.
Some new friend named Mike too. So we were just having this conversation about whoever these people were, and I was like, I don't know anybody named Brian, and I don't know anybody named Mike too. I guess a new Mike or whatever. All right, so Gannon's stomach hurt, and he was, Gannon's stomach hurt, and most of the night he had a stomach ache, and he tried to lay down and poop and stuff like that. Okay, so during this time, I'm messaging you, which you're probably tired, jet lag, whatever, and I was like, hey, Gannon's stomach's hurting, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
All right, because it happened regularly, he would get, whatever. So that's when he asked me about the bath salts. Still, hadn't talked to you about it yet, didn't know whatever. He took a bath, and then I gave him a bath bomb, because I thought, maybe this wants to be clean. Whatever. Bath salts, bath bomb, I didn't know any of that stuff. So then, next section. Where were my little things? Alright, so then the next section was, I don't remember exactly who took the bath first, but everybody had their baths, everybody was doing their own thing, and Gannon was like going back in his room. I said, okay. So then here's my next note. Alright, Albert had grounded Gannon from the switch. From my understanding, he said he was still...
Again, going to the next section, and as you hear her flip the pages of my fucking notes. So you are capable of writing a story down, yet you couldn't think of your own vampire story? Come on. In one of the phone calls, she says that he's telling him that he has a new family. I hope she wasn't telling him stuff like that. Oh, God. Yep. And you know what? I know that she was telling Al that Gannon was up all night Sunday into Monday with his stomach hurting, and that she was texting Al that too, Sunday into Monday, because she was up all night. I don't believe that Gannon was up and awake Sunday, like in the early morning hours of Monday morning. Look at the picture we just looked at of him Monday. No, I think he was out. I just think she was up and she was plotting the reason that he needed to stay home. No, I was saying back early on in the case, when I had originally listened to, and I don't know if Yellow Lemons is all the way behind, so maybe they won't hear me explain this now. But back when I first listened to that interview in real time, which was a very long time ago, based on that interview, that Troutman interview, I thought Al may have had involvement in helping Tisha covering up. But obviously I know that now not to be true. But at that time, based on what that the Troutman lady was saying, I was like, but that's the whole point, is that we need to be careful with active cases and not having the full context. Hi, Tracy.
Granted, but he could get off, the next day. He'd been in his room most of the night. I knocked on the door. He said he was playing with Grayson. I ain't never heard of fucking Grayson before in my life. So again,
Grayson? He said Grayson?
He said Grayson.
Okay.
And so in my mind, I thought, who the hell's Grayson? But I didn't see anybody in the room. Obviously, I weren't like looking under beds or anything like that. Honestly, I thought, those kids in 11 still have imaginary friends?
Tisha, are you seriously trying to propose that Gannon had somebody hiding in his bedroom? Tisha, again, it's not even that she lies that pisses me off so much. It's the fact that how bad her lies are. That, I mean, come on. Nobody's gonna believe this little baby boy was able to manage hiding an entire person underneath. We saw those beds. Come on.
Or are they talking? Is he talking to somebody online because he's not supposed to have, like technology?
Yeah, right.
Giving them,
I said right, yeah.
Giving them benefit of the doubt. I didn't say anything else. I just said, oh yeah, okay, cool. Told Grace and I said hi. I laughed it off, went off about business, didn't see anything. Okay. So later on, I don't know the exact approximate time, but I saw he was on the sofa. And I was like talking to him. I was like, "Oh, you want to sleep out here tonight?" Or
what, downstairs sofa?
Yes.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
So I'm like talking to him about tonight, whatever. He told me that his Uncle Matt was going to visit. Okay, so I don't know who the hell Uncle Matt is. So I was just sitting there like, okay, that's when it dawned into me that he had to be talking to someone on something, because Grayson, I have no clue who it is. Matt, I have no clue who he is. Then I was like, this can't be characters in some game, because it didn't sound like some game characters. I don't know Uncle Matt, and I don't know Grayson. So he was talking about his Uncle Matt was going to visit, and I thought, okay, all right, buddy, again, trying to be sensitive to the fact that I know that he probably has friends, family on the other part of the country that maybe he was missing or whatever. So again, I was like, boy, okay, yeah, so again, that's my statement. So again, I was like, boy, you need to stay off that TikTok. You're being silly. Because I already told him he needs to stay off the TikTok. He was being silly. All right, so I went upstairs, and G was on the sofa to watch TV. I told him I'd come back later with him because he wanted to watch something on the show, but I had to get Lena ready, and I promised him I would let him stay up 30 minutes later. I said, I was upstairs, getting Lena ready for bed, yada, 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 yada. Well, then, out of nowhere, the alarm is going off. It didn't start with anything other than the alarm. Lena had laid down. I had went in the room. I was sitting there with the dogs. I don't remember exactly what I was doing, but I was doing something on Roku. And I hear the alarm go off. So I walked in the living room, hit the alarm code in. And I'm just like, alarm code. And it stopped. So I thought, who in the world, was on the alarm code? Then it beeped again. And it kept going. And then it started fire. It was yelling louder. Fire, 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 fire. And I'm just like, fire? And I look around, don't see any flipping fire anywhere. So as this goes on, I'm like, okay, put the code in again, it stops. So I'm like, okay, I might get on the phone with ADT because something's wrong with this thing.
I'm not surprised that it would say fire. That makes sense, but I'm pretty certain it would actually say, and I'm not sure, maybe it's unique to what the security company is, but usually it would tell you what zone it is. So it would say fire, zone 3, fire, zone 3. Now you would know what zone it is depending on, so zone 3 could be your bedroom, zone 3 could be the dining room, zone 3, so you wouldn't have to guess, you would know exactly what zone it was in. Now to be fair, I don't know, but I could look that up.
Remember when we were out of town, the neighbor said she smelled gas and her thing was going off, but then they didn't find anything?
Yeah, right.
So I was thinking maybe it's something to do with this. So that was how my whole process was. So then at that point, I was like, the carbon monoxide thing started beeping. And I ran in there when Lena was at, and I said,
wait a second. That was your whole process thinking? You're telling me in the split seconds that you figured out that you're hearing a fire going on and you're running and you're getting Lena and the dogs and you're running to death. In that split second process, you're thinking, oh, remember that time the neighbor's alarm was going off? And it was like this faulty thing with the gas and yeah, I was thinking that might be what this situation was. Bitch, what? Because that's not what you depicted to us. That's not what you said. When did you have time to sit here and take a stroll down memory lane with your neighbors' history with the gas and their fire alarms? That's what you were thinking in the split seconds that this shit was going off, and you were hustling and bustling, getting the family in the car. Give me a fucking break.
Lena, are you asleep? Because I knew, unless I was under some adrenaline rush, and this is not being mean, I wasn't going to be able to just pick Lena up and yank her out of bed. But luckily, she hadn't fell asleep all the way. And I said, Lena, because I thought I was being crazy. I said, do you hear that? It said fire, right? She's like, yes. And so I grabbed Lena.
What? Lena, do you hear that? Do you know what your alarm would be doing? It would be going, fire, 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 fire. And you ask an 8-year-old girl, hey, do you hear that? No shit, she hears that. It's going off on your security alarm. Literally on the intercom. Fire, 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 evacuate, evacuate. You asked her because you thought I might be going crazy. So I asked her. Again, Leticia, you make it so fucking beyond obvious. And I'm sorry I'm cursing so much, but you make it so incredibly obvious that you are lying, because nobody would ever go into such great, immense detail if this wasn't relevant, if this wasn't overcompensating for something. You thought it might be in your head? Girl, if you for 1 second thought that fire, 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 get the fuck out, evacuate. If you thought that could be in your head, you need to get help. You need to get help. Okay? I got my, everyone has their inner voice. But if your inner voice could be mistaken for the intercom telling you to evacuate, you need to get checked out. Okay? Ain't nobody looking to an 8-year-old to validate the damn fire alarms. Oh my gosh.
Run her outside, run her with the dogs, give her the keys to the truck, throw them in the truck, and I run back inside. Run back inside, still don't know anything, and then remember, oh my God, Gannon. Sorry that for a second I hadn't remembered.
Oh, I'm sorry. I Kevin McAllistered our son. Yeah, I'm sorry. We got all the way to the airport, and we did the head count, and then we were like, Kevin! Yeah, sorry about that. Like, what? You yeeted Lena and the dogs into the Tiguan, you shot the keys at her, and then it was like, ah, shit, our other kid. No. No, that is not what happened. No, no, ma'am. No, sir.
No.
Yes.
No, sir. I mean, John, no. No.
Freaking out of here. This is ridiculous. This is nonsense. No innocent person would ever. Yet we have seen so many comments and posts from her calling everybody else stupid. Yeah, I'm sorry. I must have Kevin McAllister Gannon. And I was like, oh shit. Kevin! I'll go get you. I forgot. No. You don't forget about your other child. There were 2. There was only 2. At least the McAllisters had 12. The fuck was your excuse? At least the McAllisters, they accidentally swiped the ticket into the trash because it got spilt milk on it. What's your excuse? You don't have no excuse. Did you oversleep your alarm? No. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this nonsense, Tisha. Write better notes.
That because I was trying to still figure out where in the heck a fire was at. So I run back downstairs and realized that there's smoke downstairs. I couldn't get. I was coughing and choking and couldn't get through the smoke part. I run back to the.
So wait a second. While trying to figure out, oh dear Lord, where in the world is this fire? I can't for the life of me figure out where the fire is. I'm looking all around and I don't see a fire. So I have to ask Lena, do you hear that? She hears it. So I yeet her into the car and then I forget about, oh no, Gannon. So I go back in and again, I can't for the life of me figure out where the fire is. But I go to run down to get Gannon, but I can't see shit because of all the smoke. Well, wait a fucking second. Don't you think that if there was so much freaking smoke that you couldn't see, that would be the indicator of where the fucking fire was, Leticia? Wouldn't that be the big, fire is down here? You are saying you could not figure out where the fire was, yet you're also saying you could not navigate to Gannon because there was so much smoke downstairs. Okay. Tisha logic.
You had these little mouthpieces that you could put over your mouth.
Yeah, dust protectors, whatever.
Right, so I grabbed one of those, put it over my mouth, ran back downstairs, and when I ran back downstairs, Gannon was still asleep, not knowing this was going on, and there was fire. I took the cover. There was a whole bunch of tons of cover that was inside that little tan thing, and Gannon had on or whatever, and I just jumped on him. I don't know if that was the right thing to do. If it was the wrong thing to do, I'm sorry. But I just jumped on it and kept jumping on it, and Gannon was right in one of the covers. So Gannon did burn his arms. It wasn't bad. It was almost like, you know how you get a little bit of boil on it and it's just underneath the skin, but as long as y'all peel it, it's fine.
Yeah, but hey, Tisha, which arm? Was it both arms or this inside? I mean, but how was it? So, Because I remember we talked about that before a little bit, but we never got it.
Honestly, I feel like it was across the arms. Like, I feel like it was, and I told the investigators this. I said, and I don't want to skip to this part, miss this part, but remind me to say this later. I told the investigators later that I said, I probably should have looked a little more in depth at his arm.
What if he's hurt? Yeah.
Because it could have been, like, he wasn't complaining like, oh, it's hurting. He wasn't saying anything along those lines, but I should have looked a little bit more in depth. But honestly, we ran. So we ran out. I'm sure they got the footage of us, me running out first, because Gannon was grabbing his cover, running out behind there because he was cold.
What time was this? So I can maybe tell somebody to look at the footage.
Well, I mean, I told them originally. I don't have access to the ADT now, but I told them originally.
Well, what time you ask? Well, I didn't write that down in my notes. Yeah, I'm sure if they review the footage, they can corroborate this and they could see us running out. Oh, yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. What time did all this happen? Oh, shit, what time? Yeah, you see, I don't exactly recall. There was just so much going on. But, sometime within that 24-hour period, it was definitely the 26th. I could definitely tell you that. Okay, Tisha.
Because the ADT said it had an alert for fire. So I would imagine whenever that alert went off from ADT, it would have been within that few minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Now I know why you're a doctor, Tisha. Dr. Tisha. Well, I don't know the exact time frame, but if I had to guess, if there would be any time where you would catch us on camera running from the fire, it would most likely be whenever the ADT alarms went off with saying fire. It would be most likely within a couple of minutes after that. Yeah, I would definitely say, yeah, that seems pretty accurate. Oh, really? Thanks for the help, Dr. Tisha. I never would have thought about that. I never would have looked around the time that the ADT alarm was going off for the fire. You know what? Stupid me. I actually would have looked for you guys running from the fire before the fire alarm went off. You're right. What would I do without you, Dr. T? Oh, God, silly me. Oh, Tisha. Yeah, you know what? It probably would be within a couple of minutes after the fire alarm went off. Oh, really? Really? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Tisha. Thank you for that clarity. Oh, God.
Fine, I got you.
15 minutes.
Hey, tell me about it. So, I'm really concerned about these burns because, he's freaking hurt. Like what? Right. What were they big? Were they small? Like what was it? Was it from the candle wax or what?
Let me get to that part. It's not going to worry you in a minute when I get to that part.
Okay, because I'm freaking out right now. Okay,
I understand. So,
excuse me, Albert, is it? Okay, slow your roll because that is on page 7 of my notes, and I'm only on page 4. So you need to take a step back. Let me read my bullshit story as I wrote it. And don't jump ahead because I'm not recalling this from memory. So I don't know who you think you are by asking a question and anticipating that I'd have the ability to answer to my knowledge. I don't have knowledge of this. So you need to slow your roll, watch your step, and allow me to get to that part when I approach that page. Okay? Jeez.
When he runs to the car, he runs in because I'm running. He's running behind me. I jump in your truck. The only reason I jump in your truck is the keys were laying there.
Okay.
So I jump in your truck. He jumps in on the driver's side. He's screaming, crying, whatever. Lena's in the back seat with the two dogs. We turn your truck on, and we drive the hell off. Don't ask me why we drove off. I was freaked out because I was like, oh my God. Like, it was the smoke was more scary and terrifying than actually the fire. So all we did was we drove around the block, and I kind of had to be like, okay, what do I do? A, do I need to call the police department? B, does anybody need medical attention? So then we go back in the house. Lena's freaked out. I put Lena in our bed. I said, Lena.
So you drove around for how long and then came back?
No, I drove around the block. Like Wando,
I didn't hear that. Yeah, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I drove around like the block, like Wando, that area, whatever.
I know.
Back. Pull back up in the drive. You didn't have much gas because I hadn't put gas in your car yet. You didn't have much gas.
Right.
So my process of driving was thinking, oh my God, like I was in shock. So I pulled back in the driveway and parked. We all get back out, go inside. Lena's freaking out, crying. Lena and I are standing there looking at Gannon. At that point in time, I didn't see anything on his hands, arms, or anything other than take your hand where you're holding your phone and look on the insides where the edges are. That part right there had little bubbly spots. Okay? So they had bubbly spots on both sides of his arm. And I think that was from when he grabbed the cover and I was trying to grab him up, and he came down with me with the cover because he was like latched onto the cover.
Yeah.
I was trying to grab the whole cover to put out the fire. So from the inner parts of his arm had these little bubble spots.
You said both sides, or is it just the inner parts? I'm just trying to, because this might be key information.
Like both sides, left arm, right arm.
I got you. Okay, so both sides of both arms.
From what I remember, both sides of both arms, because he had when Gannon was laying down, I grabbed him to get him up. Okay, because I remember it was that
Oh God.
It was one of the covers. I grabbed him to get him up, whatever. He gets in the car, whatever, we're talking. He's explaining to me that he thought I was coming and he was grounded from the switch. So he thought I was coming, and when he thought I was coming, he knocked over the candle.
Okay.
Because apparently he was playing the switch when he shouldn't have been playing, which is fine.
But he had the candle on the couch, I guess, right?
No, he had the candle sitting on some kind of little that little white thing that was sitting next to the couch.
Okay. Oh, I got you. I got you.
Right. So I don't know if the candle fell over. I don't know. I know that when I got there was a fire, and it was on his cover. So I was trying to rip the cover out of his hands to get him up and like jump on the fire. They have pictures.
Hi, Haruho. Which, again, that never made sense, because what she is describing is basically what you're saying is Gannon was able to lay there with a fire burning on top of him, and it took you jumping on him to put it out. Do you know how incredibly painful that is? Are we supposed to believe that it took you jumping on him for him to even realize that there was a fire to begin with? Does that make sense? What was Gannon just sitting there while there was a fire burning on him? Does that make sense? It took you jumping. He didn't get up. He didn't try to run. He just sat there.
Where there's burn marks on my elbow where I jumped on the fire. So we get in the car. And he's crying and screaming and telling me he's sorry, that he don't want to get in trouble because of the switch. He was on the switch, and he shouldn't have been on the switch. And so we drive around the block, and I'm like, it's okay, we'll figure it out. Honestly, I flipping lost my mind, because I thought in my mind, like, had I not gotten downstairs when I did, had I not heard it, or the alarm system, or carbon monoxide, or whatever, if that fire would have hit that couch, I don't know that I could have gotten to Gannon. And that was my biggest thing that my brain was sitting there, like, freaked out on. Come back inside. Lena's terrified. I said, Lena, go lay in the bedroom. She's laying in the bedroom. Gannon was like, he doesn't want to go back to his room. I said, okay, will you lay in Lena's bed? He said yes. He started to say he was cold and had a little bit of shivers. And so I was like, Gannon, I took him and put more clothes on top of him now. Blame it on me. Whatever. I didn't take his clothes off to go through anything, but I asked him, was he hurting? And was anything else, whatever. And he told me it was just his arms. So I didn't see anything that would have thrown a flag that I had to be like, oh my God, emergency or anything like that. I didn't see anything like that.
But if his arms was bubbling, that's not an emergency?
Well, it hadn't broke skin. Like, it was just like underneath. It hadn't broke skin or whatever.
Okay.
And so
all right.
In my mind, I'm like, okay, let's evaluate the situation, tomorrow and see or whatever. It wasn't burn marks like carpet burn or like, anything like that. It was bubbly. And I told them from that, I said, I probably could have, got him in the car and said, hey, can you just check this out to make sure? Because it was in my mind, in his arms, I didn't see it as a bad thing. I just knew he was like, it's not hurting. We put aloe on it, and I assumed, okay. So then we put on the long sleeve shirt on him because he said he was kind of cold or whatever it was. He lays down in Lena's bed. Lena sleeps in my bed, our bed. Harley comes home. I go in, and I'm telling, like, I had already prepped Harley for what was going on. I was like, hey, don't panic when you get here. I was like, there's smoke, the house is smoky, Gannon, this happened, yada, 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 yada. Lena was scared to go to sleep, so we both went in there and checked on Gannon. We went in there, we gave him water in Lena's bed. We gave him water, we set him up, we were like, are you okay? He was more scared of anything. And so I can, of course, I was like, someone said something because I said sell the couch. I wasn't talking about sell the couch to fix the daggone carpet. I was talking about, like, I would get rid of that couch and get a new couch. Don't panic. Like, my point was, honestly, I wasn't even going to tell you because I was like, Gannon was scared of being grounded a year.
That's not, no. She's talking about the infamous video from Sunday night, and she says, we're going to have to sell the couch, we're going to have to fix this carpet, we're renters, the lady's going to kick us out, and you put it on Gannon, you put it on an 11-year-old fucking boy, and we know he didn't even do that, he didn't even do it, but you fucking gaslit him and made him believe he did it. And going through lists of items of things you guys could sell to replace the carpet. And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Horrible, horrific. Hey, Ellis. Yes, Aaliyah. So don't forget, she said I should told Harley on Sunday that he was running outside in the street saying, I hate my life. She was first going to try to make it look like it was a, self-harming. And in another version of events, Leticia said she had a friend who was a fire inspector come. There's so many different versions of events. Leticia said in one of them that she had a friend who was like a fire inspector or something come and check it out. And it was cleared.
was like, I'll buy a new couch. We'll fix the couch. We'll replace everything in here. Don't worry about it. And that was my hope. I said, as long as you promise me you didn't do it on purpose, like you didn't purposely do this to hurt yourself or hurt somebody, we will fix it. And that's how we ended on Sunday. So Gannon was still like, upset. He was not only emotional about the situation, his stomach was hurting. So that's where we were at with Sunday.
Okay.
Can you give me 1 second to pee?
Yeah.
Please keep in mind, she is still currently using an Indian's phone. We are supposed to believe that she's borrowed a nice Indian man's phone at like a gas station or something. And I guess he's totally fine with her. And he never once asked, are you almost done? Like he's just, yeah, we're supposed to believe, because in the beginning, if you haven't been here from the beginning, she told Al he's like, what number are you calling from? She's like, I had to ask this Indian guy if I could borrow his phone for a minute. And here we are. Here we are still. And we've heard her driving, and she's going to the bathroom. And yeah, so just remember that.
Okay, I'm back.
All right.
So later on in the night, Gannon woke me up a few times. He said his stomach was getting worse. She hadn't pooped yet. I messaged you, but you were already asleep. And I was like, hey, Gannon wants to know if he can stay out of school tomorrow.
That's what I don't believe. She said that Gannon was up throughout the night, Sunday into Monday, with his stomach hurting. I do not believe that. I do not believe that. I believe that Gannon was out. Just from how he appears in that proof of life photo, 8 a.m, and from what Lena describes as putting him to bed at night, and Harley testifying, Leticia making her say goodnight to him, and her rambling text throughout the night, I do not believe Gannon was, I think he was out.
He's scared of pooping in his pants. I think you probably were still asleep. You might didn't get it until the next day, which is not your fault, my fault. It was time zone and tiredness and whatever.
Yeah.
I stayed up with him a few times in the bathroom. And finally I was like, okay. And I wrote you back. I said, I'm just going to make the decision that Gannon can stay at home tomorrow, because he is so terrified about pooping in his pants or whatever. So the next morning, I called the nurse's line, and I asked the nurse's line about his stomach and giving him Miralax and yada yada yada.
You talking about the TRICARE nurse's line?
No, the urgent care nurse's line right in front of Fountain and whatever that road is.
I got you.
So I called them and I said, hey, I know typically people are constipated, you give them Miralax, yada yada yada, but he hasn't really went to the bathroom and he has blood coming out of his butt. And so they just basically explained to do the best that you could to get him to pass, and if not, then we needed to call our care provider, whatever. People started beating me up over that, saying you didn't need to have a referral to do this. That wasn't what I was trying to say. I was trying to make the point of, does the boy need to have, anything done, or can I just give him, an enema or something like that? Because I already talked to him about that. So if this don't work, you want me to give him, an enema or something, because it was a big old turd he was trying to get out.
Yeah.
All right. So then, that morning, we were I said, Gannon, I said, I'm going to stay at home with you today because I don't want you to stay by yourself. Now remember, we've let Gannon stay by himself. He's been responsible, whatever. But in this state, as in his state that he was in, not feeling well, stomach hurting, bubbling a little bit here and there, and being embarrassed, I made a decision that it was not okay for him to stay there by himself if he was sick. If he's on normal terms, taking care of his sister, playing his Switch, doing his thing, then that's fine. But I said, Gannon, you're going to need to go with me. I said, there's a few things I need to handle today. He asked me what, and I was going to look at a bike for you from this guy that was on Craigslist because he had this bike, like a touring bike. And I said, Gannon, you want to go with me to look at this touring bike or whatever?
And that was Monday?
Yes.
Hey, so did you give him Miralax or the enema or anything like that? What else you give him?
Hold on, I have in this notes what day I gave him Miralax.
All right.
Trying to poop, I regularly took that was the bath salt.
Again, whoa, slow your roll there, Al. I cannot recall from memory. I need to recall from my notes. I cannot recall from significant events what day I gave him Miralax. I don't know. Let me recall precisely from what I written down so I don't deviate from this very exact story that I am going with today. Hi, Foxfire. And so you want us to believe that you had plans to go to work. Okay, ready? You had plans to go to work, Leticia. But then Gannon stayed out of school because he doesn't feel good. So now you called out. Yet you already had plans to meet someone for this bicycle? You had things to do today? How'd you have things to do? How'd you have it already scheduled to meet up for this bicycle if today was supposed to be a work day? Things to do? Petco is on a priority list of things to do? When, as you said, Gannon is bubbling. She used bubbling. Stomach hurting, embarrassed, doesn't feel good, couldn't go to the bathroom. But, you had things to do. You could not have had that bicycle planned out if you had intentions on going to work all the way up until Monday morning.
Stay hike to Saturday. He had Miralax on Saturday. Yeah, here it is. I gave him ice cream and said it had special stuff. Because I was telling him it was really those like Pedialyte ice cream. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I told him it's special and took Miralax. That was on Saturday.
So hold on, I'm trying to just because obviously I'm worried to death about his little arms. Did you rub any cream on it or give him anything for the pain or did he pain medicine or anything like that to help him?
I didn't give him pain medicine because I didn't have any pain medicine to give. What I gave him was the aloe that was in our bathroom, that green aloe. I took the aloe. We even made like a little silly joke about it because he wasn't hurting. Remember how I was wrapping Sadie up with the little thing?
Yeah.
I wrapped it around his arms too.
And the little bandages or whatever.
Right. So I put the green aloe on it, and I said, we'll do you like Sadie. And we laughed about it. He was totally coherent, laughing about it. Yes, it hurt a little bit, but being silly about it on his arms. So
he, you didn't give him any, children's Tylenol or anything?
I didn't give him any kind of, he wasn't saying that he was hurting in any kind of pain to give him any kind of Tylenol, to give him anything at all. And if you feel like that would have been a lapse in judgment on my part, then I'm sorry.
No, I'm just trying to sort through it. I know how both of them are about, every time they scrape their finger or something, they want a Band-Aid. So I would just assume that if his arm was all bubbled up, Did his arm stay bubbled up like until the next day, or was that just did that go down that night, or how like that's worrying me too.
Okay, so to get to the next part, Gannon started to peel it.
When did he start to peel it?
Gannon started to peel it because I guess he was either asleep, I don't know, anxious, I don't know. Monday he started to peel it, like peel his skin.
Yeah, like Monday morning or whatever.
Right, and I swear to Jesus told detectives this. I said he started to peel it, and when he started to peel it, it had like I don't want to say like not gooey stuff or whatever, but it's almost like it was like popping it type thing. And I said to Gannon,
like a blister or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I said to Gannon, I said, listen, I said, if it gets worse, we're gonna drive straight. Okay. And that was already the plan. That's why I didn't go to school. I said, if it gets worse, after I put all that stuff on there, whatever. I'm not that type of person where something happens immediately, run to the hospital. You know, you and I've had that conversation before where you would say, like, every little thing, Lena ran to the hospital. I was trying to evaluate it to see, as long as he was talking fine, normal, acting normal, I didn't see at that point in time that he was under any kind of pain.
I got you.
Or he didn't say that to me.
Okay,
Again,
all right.
If that was a lapse in judgment on my part, I apologize. But he started to peel it because, you know, obviously he starts to peel things and big things. So along with peeling that, he started peeling his fingernails. So, and I'm like, that morning, I sent you a picture of Gannon laying in bed on Monday morning to your phone.
Yeah, right.
So Gannon was laying in the bed, whatever. I went back in there, checked on him, gave him some more water, made him drink some more Pedialyte because he wasn't eating because he was so upset. And then that's when I noticed he started peeling things, like on his arm. And I said, and at that point in time, which I told you, like I told them, Gannon had blood that was on his arm and on the side of his wall. I guess from sleeping through the night, whatever it was, peeling it. Because we toted him back down to his room after Lena decided to go back to bed.
On the side, you said on the side of his wall? You never told me that.
No, I told detectives.
We toted him. Now remember, Lena's safe passage interview. She's confirming that Lena is telling the truth. She's validating what Lena said. Her and Lena carried Gannon downstairs. Tisha had to bend Gannon's legs because he couldn't walk. Tisha just said we had to tote him downstairs to his room. What does that mean? You had to tote him downstairs? Tote him. Tote him. Tote him. Tote him. Haul or convey. Lug. Pack. Carry by hand. You had to tote Gannon? Why? Why? And this is what's gonna haunt me, and it's just gonna make me feel like I'm going crazy because I just want to so desperately understand what happened. And just for him, because he deserves, no matter how horrific it may be, it's his truth. It's his truth. It's what happened to him. And it deserves to be known. Because how can he get that justice if it's never known? And she deserves to be fully held accountable. And I feel like unless that's known, she's never fully held accountable. And it's just, I think what we already know is so beyond horrific. But I think there is so much more abuse that was happening for so much longer. And I think that if we really knew the full extent of what was going on leading up to Gannon's murder and then into the days, into Gannon's murder, we would be shocked to our core.
Oh.
You never talked to me about this.
Okay, fair, fine. I'm just, this is new. I've never heard that before, so now I'm even more worried about him.
So they should have told you this. So then I went in there that morning, sent you a picture. I said, Gannon, why do you have blood on your wall? I was like, it wasn't a lot. Don't panic. It wasn't like.
Oh, so it wasn't like a lot, like all over the place. It was just like little streaks or something.
Right.
Oh.
And I said, Gannon, I said, did you peel those things? Yes, he did. I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to re-bandage your arm. I says, and if you're feeling bad or it starts bleeding, you get a fever, anything like that, I says, as soon as because I was going to go talk to the man about the bike. Right. I says, I don't have to go there first. You want to go to the hospital now? Of course, maybe I shouldn't have asked the kid that, but based on my judgment and what I was seeing with him, I didn't think that he needed to go right away. We went on about our business. And I said, if you start to feel any pain or hurt or whatever like that, we'll just drive to the base. We'll explain to them what happened with the fire. We monitored it through the night, so on and so on. That was our intent. That was the plan the whole time. Everything. Nothing wavered from doing that at all. Gannon asked me questions. He was just like, why does this happen to me? Why do I always get hurt? Because, he had hurt his foot on the boards outside. And I said, Gannon, we're going to figure all of it out. Don't worry about it. We will replace it. Okay? So Monday morning, after all this, I was like, Gannon, we're going to go find, which I probably shouldn't have said to him that he would have not thought that it was on him. But I said, we're going to go find someone to replace the carpet. I says, and then we'll get it fixed. We won't worry about it. We'll monitor your arm through the day. Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, this is yada, 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 yada. Monitor him, monitor him, monitor him, monitor him. It is, and they even wrote that, Lisa, and I'm so sorry that you had third-degree burns. That is horrific. And I hope that you recovered well. But even in her arrest warrant, it's noted that it is so uncommon and very unlikely for a burn, for bleeding, significant bleeding, to be the result of a burn. Okay? It's... No, that wasn't the plan, Aaliyah. She just changed, she just changes the story. She just changes it. They use burning as a way. Okay, put it this way. If you are uncontrollably bleeding and they can't stop it, what are they going to do? They're going to cauterize it, which means burn it. If burning caused more bleeding, they wouldn't use that as the option. Okay? If you're on the battlefield and you have a freaking wound and it's not stopping, it's bleeding, you're losing significant blood, you have nothing else, you take a hot iron and cauterize it. She's so smart. Unfortunately, it didn't say the exact day. Well, the time. It was during Grusing's interview, he said, and she said, what, when, where was that? And because she dirty deleted it. But it was sometime. Yeah, I would love to know the specific time. All right, we'll listen to a couple more minutes and then we'll stop for today because I've been on for over 3 hours.
So we're gonna go get some coffee, just hang out. And I said there were some things I need to get for the pet store, and we need to go meet the guy about the bike. Because the plan was, that's the reason we drove the truck, because if I end up liking the bike, I was gonna put the bike in the back of the truck.
Yeah, I got you.
Gannon also knows that when we left, we took my softball bag, Harley's softball bag with bat and stuff like that in it, helmet, because Gannon, I was asking him, did he want to stop by to look at those hockey skates? So we took any of that old equipment that I had and we loaded it in the back of the truck, which was the, the long Easton bag I have.
Yeah. So you took Harley's bag?
Harley's bag, because she don't use that bag.
That little book, the little book bag, the softball bag that's like a book bag.
Right.
Oh.
So we were going to take it to that sports place and see if they did like trades, whatever.
Yeah.
And we were going to surprise Lena when she got home if I could got him 2 new things of skates or hockey skates or whatever. Cause
You talking about Play It Again Sports over there that we went to?
That's why we were so far across town.
I gotcha.
All right. So that was our plan for Monday. Go to Play It Again Sports, get some coffee. We need to get gas. And we were going to monitor his arm along the way, go check on the thing about the bike.
Right.
So we go to, drive around. I think we went to Dunkin' Donuts first, and then the gas store, or it might have been vice versa.
What, like over by our house, Dunkin' Donuts?
Right. We went to Dunkin' Donuts by our house. Dunkin' Donuts sharing lady already released the video of us going there. You can see my arm reach out the window if I can grab. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it.
What does that have to do with anything? You see how much he overcompensates? You see, Dunkin' Donuts even already released. If you had nothing to do with Gannon's disappearance, what the hell does it make a difference that Dunkin' Donuts released and they could even confirm? I was there. You could see my arm reach out and grab the dog nut. You could even see me get the pink frosted sprinkled dog nut in the footage. Do you know why she harps on the things that can be verified? Because she's hoping that if she could verify these pieces, it'll make the pieces that she can't verify more believable. Look, the dog nut part is verifiable. See, I'm obviously telling the truth. So you need to believe me about everything else I'm saying before and after the dog nut. It's a good question, Love Shack Sarah. And I know for the longest time, people speculated the switch, right? Because the switch was missing. And then the switch was in the photo of his proof of life. But it wasn't the switch. The switch was found and it wasn't, did not have his, any of the blood, or it wasn't damaged. But I know people think baseball bats, like a softball bat, I know people think the butt of the gun, they introduced that at trial, the possibility that the butt of the gun could have been used. I don't know. I don't know. See, if that was the case, and locali, and it's so horrific, you know, like, and it's hard to even consider, you know, but I would anticipate more damage to the skull that would be identifiable. More I'm trying to be careful. If it was something like a hammer or mallet, I think it would be a more identifiable. Despite the decomposition, it would leave very unique impressions in the skull. Does that make sense? Yeah. No, we don't know if it could have been a piece of the plywood. The particle board. We don't know. Hey, Wheelby. So lovely seeing you. We don't know. We do not know. We know that piece of board had blood on it, but it may have had blood on it because it was underneath the rear hatch of the Tiguan, and as she was loading the Tiguan in, it may have been dripping blood and just gotten on the particle board, and she had to pick that piece up. Yes, the baseball bat, which, okay, I'm trying not to be too gruesome or anything like that, but you can understand the difference now between, take a softball bat versus like a hammer or something like that, and much different in damage if you would be hitting a surface with it. Not as the impacts would be different. Oh, thank you, K-Cat. And so, but something like a baseball bat may leave an impact that wouldn't be as identifiable, right? Like if you hit something, let's say you even hit the wall, right? Let's like imagine you have a softball bat and you hit the wall, like a piece of sheetrock with a softball bat. And you look at, okay, now look at the marking it made. Would you automatically be able to determine, oh yeah, that 100% looks like it was hit by a bat? No, not necessarily. I'm sure you'd look at that and say, well, many things could have left that damage versus like a hammer or a mallet. That's what I kind of meant. Like if you hit with that, I'm sure that leaves very more unique damage. Well, and that was a big question. They were like, well, what about this trauma? Like, could he have occurred this trauma? Well, apparently, no. There could be some trauma from tossing the body, but they were able to determine, and I forgot how. I'd have to go back and rewatch the medical examiner testify, but they were able to determine that all three were inflicted at the time that he was alive, unfortunately. Thank you, K-Cat. That's so sweet. She might have said, no, as far as I remember, and I'll have to go back and I'll review it before I come back on live so I could have the exact answer for you guys. What I do remember her saying is that the head trauma, he would not have been able to, what word did she use? Like, basically, he would not be able to sustain life after the head trauma. And so, but his body was in such a severe state of decomp, it was very hard for them to determine what exactly happened and how it happened. His body was in very, very, very poor condition. Which interrogation, Aaliyah? Are you talking about with Grusing? The day she was arrested? Correct, Chloe. And you're not supposed to pop them either because that liquid actually is protecting. But okay, guys. So I'm going to stop it there because I've been on for 3.5 hours and I have to go. But we will pick up where we left off and we will finish that. Over this weekend, like I said, I am going to fix the remaining episodes that are left on my channel. I am going to fix the thumbnails, organize them, fix the titles of them and the numerical order so it's not all chaos and it's not all over the place. Trust me, it's pissing me off too because I worked really hard on it. Any episodes that have been removed, again, I will be re-uploading and all of that content and all of that information will be coming back up. If you are a Patreon member and if you see all of the episodes on Patreon come down, rest assured, just give me a day or two. They will all come back up. I'm just moving it to, like, on my end, a different outlet, but it's all going to come right back up. So just bear with me and just give me a chance to kind of like transition and everything will smooth its way out. But I appreciate you guys being patient. And, I apologize for any inconvenience. I'm really disappointed. I'm really pissed that I even had to pull and move around any episodes because they, it was such a sexy playlist and it looked so pretty and I worked so hard on it. So the fact that like now it's all chaotic and out of order really, really is upsetting. But you know what? Like I said, I'll re-upload it even better. That's the way I'm going to look at it. But either way, I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate your guys' support. You guys mean the world to me. I will not be on tomorrow, but I'll be on Sunday evening. And so I will schedule live for there. And then we're going to do a members only Monday. So make sure if you aren't already a member and you would like to become a member, you can join. And so I will see you guys all soon. Hit the thumbs up on your way out if you haven't already. It very much helps. And I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. And I will talk to y'all soon.